How we looking on Facebook? Live in the group. Live to one. All right. Next we're looking on YouTube. We good.
Yeah, man.
All right. You said we good, right, Anton?
I don't see it on Facebook.
Yeah, the Facebook thing just popped up. I got the little alert.
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How y'all feeling? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Man, I'm here, bro.
I feel great.
Yeah. Where that drink at, Tawana?
You know, she right here.
Hey, what we drinking now?
Pinot Grigio.
Oh, okay.
So you got that from
fancy.
If y'all want to sponsor, if wines want to sponsor us in any way, we're open.
That's from.
And I will test your wine out for no
have,
problem.
Like, spirits as well, Was that Aldi spirits?
No. Tawana don't do Aldi. Okay. No.
Hey, Trader Joe's on them. See if it was Trader Joe's.
I don't do Aldi, and I don't do certain brands. And you know what? Aldi actually has some good rosé though. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, they do. They have some good rosé. So
yeah,
if
right.
you like Aldi's rosé, even though Aldi not sponsoring us, so
you're right. Because when you buy something from Aldi, you can't even get a name of it. You just got hey, this is what I got.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
Yeah,
I don't know the name. I just know it's a nice rosé.
Like no name recognition. Like, this is just hard cider that I'm drinking.
Does it? No, but Aldi got this trail mix that is. I'm telling y'all, it's so good. It's really good. Like,
oh yeah,
yes. I mean, and they have the best because I've tasted other ones, but like they got all these different kinds. I don't care which one you get. It's fire. If you like
going to different grocery stores buying trail mix, because I
need a healthy snack. You know what I mean? Like a healthy snack, so I can stay snatched. You know what I mean? Stay snatched. We're gonna be talking about that later. You got to stay snatched.
I don't think that's one of the topics tonight, though.
Oh, I think so. It's gonna spill it over into staying snatched.
You know, you talk about no snacks and all that, man. That's for a different show.
Well, I'll spin it. I'll redirect.
Yeah, that could be for your after hours.
There you go.
Hours, yeah.
There you go. After hours, how to stay snatched.
All right, y'all, let's get to it. Welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's going to be another great show tonight. I'm with the crew. Anton.
What up, though?
B Nix.
I'm here.
And our queen, Tawana.
Hey, y'all.
And myself, JR. Tonight, we're going to be discussing most men don't aspire to be married. Most men do not aspire to be married. How you feel about that, Nix? Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I just think that, not to say it's like a transaction, but what's the return on investment? I think that right now we live in a society where everybody is very independent as far as independent income, and independent means in which to seek satisfaction or pleasure and just fulfillment in life. So the thing is, folks are able to have access to kind of many benefits in which then it becomes one of those like, well, how is this different from being married if I can still reap the same benefits being single? Because like Anton had mentioned in previous shows, is like, hey, either you're married or you're single. That's it. So the thing is, I feel that the divorce rate we know from, a few decades back has increased over the years. So the thing is, at this point, I think people look at it, let me just cut my losses now in advance. I'll just stay single and I'm going to just keep my money. I'm going to have my fun. People having children together, people making money together. So the thing is, what is the true ROI for marriage besides just the idea, the concept of being married? What really changes when you get married?
Tawana, do you think this is true that most men don't aspire to be married?
I mean, I guess, because let's unpack this question a little bit, because it's like a lot of men are not raised in dual family households, right? So they don't see a man and woman married, working together. So why aspire? And then we don't teach men to be good husbands, right? We talk to women, we tell women how they should attract men, how they need to keep a man. We put a lot of pressure on women to do all these things, but we don't really teach men how to be good men or good husbands. And if you don't have a father in the home, it's even more difficult to really learn how to be a good man. So why would you aspire to be somebody's husband when you really don't have an example in your life? That's in my opinion. And I think marriage is kind of not the center of anyone's lives in this new millennium. Like like B Nick said, people are more independent. People just want to do their own thing, and they don't really see marriage as a goal like we used to back in the day. So I feel like, why would men in turn see what is the benefit, right? Because it's all this negative things that men think about that when they associate themselves to marriage. It's like, I'm gonna lose my freedom, I'm gonna lose my friendships, I'm gonna lose respect, I'm gonna lose dignity, I'm not gonna be able to do this and do
I'm
that.
gonna lose half of everything that I built in my life.
Because men think that they're gonna lose their money, they're gonna lose power, they're gonna lose all these things, control over their life. And so it's a lot of negative, things associated with getting married. So why would a man ever want to commit to something like that, when honestly it's far from that? Men benefit a lot in marriage, and marriage can be a good thing for a man, if he collaborates with the right partner and he's able to build and actually build on his success and do more with what he's accomplished in his life. But a lot of times that positive spin on it is not even really mentioned. And a lot of the married men, they kind of ruin it for single men, because they tell them like, man, play, don't do this. Don't even jump into this pool. Like, I think a lot of married men, don't even do a good job at telling single men why it's a good thing to be married. So I believe that men, they don't aspire to be married because, one, they're not taught to be married or to be good husbands like women are. It's ingrained in us to choose the right man, get you a man, blah, blah, blah. Like a lot of women, not all women, obviously. But there is a lot of women who are taught to be good wives and taught how to be a mother and taught how to be nurturing and taught all these things. And men are just kind of not really taught those things. So, of course, why would you aspire to be married?
Anton, do most men aspire to be married?
As they get older and wiser, no. And I guess before I even really go into having a conversation about this, let me just ask Tawana, just based off of what you were saying, because you did a really good job in highlighting a lot of the downfalls and the negatives. Can you give me some of the positives and the benefits that would swing that pendulum a little bit more even for why it would actually benefit men to get married?
I think that the most important thing is that you really have a partner to help enhance what you've already built for yourself. I don't think that you should get married if you don't have your life in order already. I think that you have your life in order and you need a partner, or you want a partner to help enhance you, that it's a great thing to get married, because most times women, we bring balance to your life. So that can mean a lot of different things. Like, we can create a different type of home structure. We can make you more organized in a lot of ways. We can help you just to get focused and be motivated. Women, we bring a lot of different things, that nurturing side of us. We do a lot of.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that you said, I could just watch a YouTube
video. You can, but it's good to have a partner. So if you don't want to be lonely, right? I don't know. I mean,
well, I don't know. You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, there's benefits to a lot of things, but it's one of those like, I don't know. I think everybody got their own reasons why they want to get married. I mean, I think just because you see or you grow up in a household and you see two parents together, that may not always be the best model. I mean, trust and believe, we all love our parents, but they, as us being adults now, they may not been the best model marriage to say, I want to be like that. You know, so the thing is, I think everybody got their own individual motivations and stuff, man.
I think
Well,
that the
I mean, if you
risks.
want children, I think that it's important to have both parents in the home, and that's just the most
Is it?
important thing.
Is it anymore?
I think it's important. I don't think that it's always
co-parent?
healthy, but I do think that should be the goal. Like, I don't think it's always healthy, and I'm not saying stay in an unhealthy situation, but do I think that two parents in the home is a great thing? If it's healthy and if it's a good structure and for your kids, then it's absolutely a good thing to have two parents. So I think it should be the goal. I mean, if it works out or not, cool, but
I personally don't believe that men aspire to be married. Once they become of age and they realize the when they start weighing the pros and the cons and the risks versus the rewards, I don't think that men aspire to be married, because I think that the downside of it, or the potential for how men will be impacted if it doesn't work out, is extremely slanted versus what the upside would be if it does work out and the benefit of it. And so when you look at the society's take on marriage and how things have evolved and slanted to be, I think, painted against men, as far as, and I'm not even talking about just from the perspective of what happens to men if, in a divorce or something like that. I'm talking about just the narrative against men in general. Like, we had a conversation last week in which we highlighted, whether or not women even say, oh, I lost a good man, versus the disparity of men saying, I lost a good woman. And is that the conversation? Is that the narrative? I think the narrative against men is so negative and so slanted in a lot of ways, in which I don't see why men would ever aspire to get married, considering that it takes triple the effort to support, double the load. If that make any sense. If you go anywhere, let's break it down, right? If you go anywhere, you fly anywhere, you're paying not just for yourself, you're operating under the assumption that you're doing it for the person that's with you, you feeding them. You have to do all of these things, which is fine if that's what you want to commit to, but you have to do all of these things, which then you have to evaluate, because relationships are transactional. What do you get in return? Oh, I got a co-pilot. Is that the end of the narrative? You know what I'm saying? So if you're going into marriage weighing the pros and the cons, because if you win, it's almost like it's so many different, it's 100 ways to lose and it's 3 ways to win. So if you win and you beat the game, then life is awesome, right? But if you lose, it's just absolutely miserable and it's hard to overcome. And then you got to eat 18 years of suffering and pain and fighting for a lot of guys, not all, but some. And it's, the downsides, I think, with the courts being slanted in favor of women and things like that, is so extreme to where I think that a lot of guys, considering that it's 2020 and the dynamics of what marriage means changed, I think that men are starting to realize that it's no benefit to get married if you're wise and you realize that I can do just as much or better on my own, similar to how the narrative is being painted by feminists that you need to be an independent woman.
Be Nick.
Women don't see they don't see the value in it just for the same reason.
Hey, B Nix, do you feel that most men are pressured into getting married?
Yeah, I think that
pressured
it is, but I don't think like how it used to be. I mean, I would say like probably folks, mothers have pressured them into getting married because they feel like that's the right thing to do. And I think it's an aspect that like it's something that's more so of a traditional custom to get married. So I think from the aspect of I won't even say just mother's family, but I mean, in reality, I feel like our society is kind of moving away from those kind of more the traditionalist generation norms of getting married, getting a home together. I think that people now look at it that we could coexist. I mean, there's many people who live at home with each other. They may not be married per se, but they are providing the resources, benefits, and services as a married couple. So I mean, whether it's co-parenting, sharing expenses, shared accounts, trips, fun, hanging out. So the thing is, I think people look at it that getting married is more so of this is almost like a contract, you know, to say like, hey, I'm agreeing that me and you are going to be in this for a long-term period of time. And I think a lot of people want that to be solidified. I think for me, like, I think an aspect of all of us is slightly selfish, whereas like when you know you got something special, you want to keep it. So the thing is, in order to keep that, you feel like, hey, well, you know what? I'm gonna make a commitment to it. So I think that's something where, like, you know, it's almost not to compare like a woman to a car, but you know, this is different from a rental versus something that you want to keep over the course of time. You know, so I'm not trying to compare a woman to like an actual machine, but I think it's still that same mindset where it's like, hey, I do want to make a long-term commitment to this particular person, just this person.
But what if that machine that you making a commitment to is just continuously giving you problems after you paid it off? You know what I'm saying? Like, keep breaking down.
He said he wasn't trying to compare women to cars, and here you go.
I'm using the analogy that was.
Yeah, it may not have been the best analogy, but it was the first thing that came to mind. Because I mean, well, you treated with a little TLC, right?
You know, I'm gonna let you slide on that, but I'm just gonna say that
it's not my
a lot of other ways to compare it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Usually, audience. Usually, I'm better with the examples.
You know,
this was you get my point though. So as far as the outcome, you get the outcome of where
and then
I'm trying
you
to
also
say.
got to factor in that they continue to make upgraded models for cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got the 2021.
Oh man!
You can pre-order it. You know what I'm saying?
Make a meme of my face and just put bullshit next to it. Y'all are hot.
What we talking about? Warranty next?
Let me just tell you this.
Like, is this like a 60-mile, 100-mile warranty?
Every man don't think like that. And it's a lot of men. It's a lot of men who want to get married. Every man don't think like that. It's a lot of men who want to get married. It's a ton of you guys who don't. And it could be a variety of reasons why you don't. But nobody is pressured to get married. I don't know.
There's a level of pressure.
You are an adult. You make your own decision.
Pressure.
It's no pressure.
I think it's pressure when you're in the relationship.
All right, Tawana. So you said that men are not pressured, right, Tawana?
They are. People pressure.
I'm asking Tawana. I'm asking Tawana.
By their partner.
I don't believe that. I believe I believe that you guys are not good at communicating how you feel, and you don't want to face the consequences. Listen, you don't want to face the consequences of it. So therefore, you tell women whatever they want to hear. No, you tell women whatever they want to hear, and you do whatever they want because you don't want to face the consequences of what you decided against that. So if you tell her, I don't want to get married right now, and I'm not interested in getting married, you're afraid of her reaction and how she's gonna feel as a result of that. And because of your fear,
whoa.
And because of your fear, you do something else.
A lot of heat coming from that box, man, over there, man. There's a lot of heat coming from your square.
Well, listen. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, please.
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Hey, hold on. Let's just pause.
I am much more successful in my cohabiting relationship than I was in my marriage. Right. Okay, so I am perfectly perfectly happy with that. And I have so many
cohabiting right now, right?
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
So
but it's the same thing, though.
This is the only.
The concept
this is the only other man that I've ever lived with outside of my ex-husband.
Whatever key word makes you feel better about the agreement, but the thing is, it's one of those like, hey. At some point in time, the justification is going to be what you just said, saying like, well, you know, since y'all don't know how to speak and talk up when it's time, hey, you got to make a decision.
Well, I don't believe that because I feel
That's the tone you just gave us.
Okay, let me just say this.
That was the type of energy you was giving
Let me just say this. When you have a healthy cohabiting relationship like myself, we have discussed that and we know what the plan is and we don't have unrealistic expectations, okay? But when you don't have healthy boundaries and discussions with your mate, then you may not know what's going on. And so you in this relationship, you may have resentment. So I'm
literally hear people online talking about, I just got
about those situations.
But I mean that
folks
B
talk
Nix
about
is
applying
right though.
pressure all the time now, man. So
B Nix is right. Like
pressure.
just because a guy decides he has a decision to make does not mean that he does not have pressure on him to make that decision. And so I think that B Nix is accurate
It's in your mind.
Guys are from the very movies that we were conditioned to watch as we were coming up, the cartoons, the Steve Urkel chasing Laura's, like we conditioned to believe chase the girl, get the girl of your dreams, marriage, whatever. She's out here chasing all of these other guys, whatever. Like we're conditioned to think a certain type of way towards marriage, women, relationships, and that it ultimately is pressure on us, not only from society but from the people closest to us. And unless you're honestly really have a huge desire as a guy to have kids, I don't see the upside in me recommending, hey, you need to find a mate and get married. And that's not actually having a conversation with somebody that's actually in a relationship considering marriage. I'm talking about a single guy, has no woman that he's thinking about marrying in any type of way in that mindset. Why would I ever give him any advice and say, hey man, you need to get married like within the next 2-3 years, whatever like that? What if he says, Anton, okay, so why would I want to do that? I couldn't give him 5 good reasons that he couldn't probably give me 10 bad ones in return as to why that makes sense for him.
You
so
know, I love how logical men are and how practical you guys are, and except when it comes to pressure and force. Because you guys, no, let me tell you, you guys are so logical and so practical. But when it comes to this imaginary pressure and force, because there is no tangible evidence of any pressure or force. So you guys are not logical in that one sense. Now y'all want all this sympathy and all this, understanding, and you pressuring me. You're not pressuring shit, okay? You in a relationship. You decided to commit. You decided to marry that woman, even if ain't nobody got no imaginary handcuffs on you and ain't nobody got no imaginary, forces on your lips to make you say yes. That is you who did that.
Hey, B Nix, right after you say that, I want anybody that watched this to go in the group or on any thread, on any social media platform, just scroll up and watch all of the narratives be, why ain't no good men left? Why he can't commit? Girl, if he don't marry you within this amount of time, make sure you go and find the one that's
it's
like
false,
all of that.
Women don't want to. Women
it's
are
not imaginary. That's not that.
Women don't want to get married as quickly as they don't want to get married the way that just like men are kind of straying away from being married. Women are doing the exact same thing. Women are not interested in marriage. They don't see a benefit to it.
It takes two to tango. They don't
see a benefit to it.
All right, so if we just said there's no benefit, then like to the point we were just making, hey, folks not really into getting married. Like
I believe in marriage, and I see tons of benefits. But I'm saying that
you double talking, Tawana.
I love marriage. I think marriage is a great thing.
Yeah, I don't want to. Because
what I'm saying is,
if you cohabitating, then the thing is like I'm already sharing the same benefits that is marriage. It's just saying like, all right,
my man. Yeah,
I'm just extending my contract.
I'm getting my cookie out the cookie jar without the cookie jar locking when I get in it to get the cookie.
I mean, but that's not true because you can do a lot of things as a cohabitating couple. You can get life insurance on the person. You can actually start sharing.
But you don't get the.
A person can protect you while they cohabitate.
You don't get the benefits. You don't get health insurance. It's a lot of things.
I mean, if you got your own job, Bill, you might not need it.
Hold on. But I can name a lot of things on the other side that you don't get. And so my point is, if y'all getting cohabitating and the house is in his name and something happens to him, guess what? Now you have to contest with whomever. If something happens to him and you have to make a decision on what happens to him in the hospital, you don't have that priority.
You have power of attorney.
My point is,
if you have medical power of attorney.
Yeah, you better hope that y'all already had that set up prior
exactly.
to the illness.
You're right, B Nix, and that's my thing is that people are painting the picture to be a lot rosier than it is for the overwhelming majority of the population by looking at themselves and using that as the litmus, right? My marriage is awesome. At the same time, though, I'm not naive to the idea that there's probably 10 people for every one of me that's going through it on the opposite end of the fence. And for me to ignore that and act like guys are happy about the circumstances by which they find themselves in once they get in that situation is crazy, because most guys don't. And that's why we have a higher than 50% divorce rate. And when it does happen, most of the time the guy gets the bad end of the stick. So I advise guys be very, very. I don't encourage them not to get married, but I'm not pushing them to it, and I'm not trying to convince them of why it makes sense for them. I just tell them, Leo, bro, do what's best for you. And if she seem like somebody that you want to start having that conversation with, be very careful and vet her extensively.
Hey, B. Nix, I want to ask you this: how much does kids factor in a man's decision to get married?
I don't know, because the thing is, I want to say that, like, if I'm a father, I can still be in my child's life minus marriage. And if I'm cohabitating, then technically I'm living in the house where my children are at. So the thing is, I mean, I think it is a factor, but you could also look at it that I can still have a relationship with my offsprings, whether I live in a house or not. I think it's always ideal being closely kind of connected to your children, especially when they're young. But there are also cases where, you know, both the mother and the father live together in the household. So it becomes one of those that's, all right, is marriage really a thing? Now, it depends on your angle. Like, hey, some people don't have that type of relationship where they are able to kind of co-parent or whatever. But the thing is, that means marriage is not going to be the answer to that either. If you and the person that you had your child with, y'all not on the same page, you can't then come say like, oh man, we just need to go on and get married so I could be in my daughter's life. That's not going to be the fix either. And honestly, a little bit just to segue into staying with that point, I think that some people get married because they think that that's a way of securing someone because of the other side of being selfish, that hey, you are always going to be mine. But guess what? A lot of people get married for the wrong reasons. They get married for attention, for the fame, the okay, this is like a bucket list thing to satisfy that level of pressure that we talked about that exists. And then it's not sustainable, you know. People aren't real. Some people are in marriages right now and they're not happy.
B Nix, I
Ain't
think
no pressure.
Tawana's cussing you out with the mute on. I just want to let you
Oh
know.
no, I'm ready for Tawana tonight, and usually me and you
Ain't
don't
no
do this,
pressure.
but hey,
Pressure is in your mind. Ain't no pressure.
Hey, Anton.
No pressure.
Hey, Anton. Do you feel like men are trapped if kids are involved?
Yeah, 100%. Because I know, man, a lot of people that didn't
Yeah.
stay because of the kids. You know what I'm saying? And the kids become the number one priority, and that they didn't necessarily ask to be brought into the situation. And I know even some situations where kids have the fact that they have kids force them to continue to come to the table to figure out how to make it work long term. So I think that if it's not number one, it's definitely number two as far as the list of reasons why guys consider getting married or consider being even in relationships. I think that kids play a large role, because that's probably one of the main things, one of the only things that I can name that men can't do by themselves. Like, they can't have kids by themselves and that be the end of the conversation. They have to have somebody in order to, for that to factor into their lives. But kids play a huge role in marriages staying as long as they have, or relationships enduring as long as they have. And outside of kids, I think that you would have an enormous drop off rate of people considering getting married or even being in relationships at all.
That's good. I think something to keep in mind too is I think couples worry about the kids' mindset. You know, if they're able to handle it. I know it happens every day, but I think the kids just, if you're in the same household for so long, and that's what the kids are used to seeing, I think couples struggle with change, with changing the whole dynamics of the whole household. So I just think that that's are very important when it comes to them making that decision.
But you know what
So
though? Can I say something? I
go ahead.
feel like that's almost like part of the wrong reason though to stay with somebody. That's going back to the misery that some people are living in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I hate to say, I know we talked about it like leading with happiness, right? And all this. It's like you're now almost creating now a toxic environment for those children to be a part of. Because we talked about that earlier. Like just because that you're my mother, you're my father, you are not a model marriage that I should be able to aspire toward. A lot of people are setting bad examples and really are creating this perception on why I don't want to get married because they saw what happened growing up. Because, oh, yeah, we just need to stay together and stick this out because of the children. And it's a toxic environment. And then they grow up saying that I never want to get married because I had these two bad examples being both mom and dad that thought they were being the model couple and really they were not handling
All right, so
the
B
pressure
Nix,
well.
let me push back on that a little bit though. Why is it a statistical fact that kids raised in two-parent households are more overwhelmingly more successful than kids raised in single-parent households?
Because they didn't factor in the village aspect. The thing is, it takes a village. So the thing is, the village may not necessarily mean two parents, the mother and the father. The thing is, if you still have the aunt, the uncle, the cousin, all the people that's involved with your upbringing, I feel like it doesn't have to be necessarily married to just the actual couple. So I think that
But I mean, it's still a
circumstantial.
you still didn't address the statistical fact that kids raised in two-parent households are overwhelmingly more successful than kids raised in single-parent households,
No, I
despite
did. I
there
said
being
the
a
data
village on
doesn't
both
run
sides
the
of the
variable.
fence.
That's a variable that the data doesn't look at. It's not binary. It's not
But there's
okay.
villages on
Single
both
parent
sides of the
versus
fence, though. Just because you're in a
two-parent
single-parent,
household.
just because you're in a single-parent household, don't mean you don't have aunts and uncles and cousins and things like that. And the same thing on the other side of the fence. Just because you in a two-parent household, you have aunts, uncles, and cousins. You both have villages. However, there's a huge gap in the success rate of kids living in single-parent households versus kids living in two-parent households. So when you factor that into the equation, how can we still have that same narrative?
Well, I would like to know what's the root cause. Like, since we know that, like, then to dig in deeper, and not to say you got the answer. Then what is the recipe of
Well,
two
okay,
parents?
let me throw in a few other statistics. Kids that are raised in single parent households are most likely to go to jail. They're more likely to die earlier. They're more likely to be in gangs. They're more likely to seek out validation from people outside of their household, such as, and that is one of the main contributing factors as to why they wind up joining gangs and things like that. They're less likely to attend school. They're more likely to drop out. They're less likely to attend college. They're more likely to seek validation and have problems as it relates to relationships long term by seeking validation from whoever it is that they jump in a relationship because they didn't get that security factor and that validation from maybe a father figure or a mother playing a specific role in their life. So these are all factors that
I
go
get it.
into
I get it.
and
I
these
just
are
disagree with it.
facts.
I
These are
disagree with it. I
facts.
feel like, and maybe I'm looking at it as an outlier, but the thing is, like, hey, okay, is it more so from the aspect of income? Like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, two incomes are always better than one. So you do have more access to do different things if we're looking at this as solely financial. I don't have the data in front of me, but I feel like that's another variable. And for two, if we talk about two-parent household, I would like to know, is there a variable and you're talking about the mother and the father, or you're talking about the mother and the grandmother, or the mother and
No,
the
it's
aunt?
mother and father, like a
Yeah, so the
married
thing
couple.
is, I would like to know how many of those actually, like, what would be another stream of data that we could look at people that have grown up with a village in their
Yeah.
upbringing as far as their
Mm-hmm.
household versus just looking at it like, okay, the mother and the father. Because we know for a fact many people have grown up with both aunts, uncles, cousins, play cousins, and all these other people that still supported the upbringing. I wonder, like, how
Yeah.
successful are those individuals, even though mommy and daddy technically wasn't there. Because
Yeah.
let's be honest, like, if mommy and daddy is both there and I'm a daddy, and the thing is, I'm at work all day. So the thing is, like, technically, we're talking about the mother and the father, but the thing is, the mother and the father are working to provide for the kids. So technically, they're not even there for all the interactions. You know who's there for the interactions? Grandma, Nana, neighbor, the teacher, the coach, all these other people they really do the front-facing engagement work with children. Because guess what?
See, I would
in order
say
to provide this financial environment and the safety, you got to fucking work all the time.
But I would say that when you consider that, though, B-Nix, that's one of the problems that we have within our school systems today, is that we're looking for everybody else to parent our kids because there is a brokenness within our homes that is not fixed, and kids have to go to school looking to get parented. We often say that teachers are overglorified babysitters. We look to coaches to play a larger, more father figure role in a lot of our sons' lives. So that's what I'm saying, is that if we start to get into the root cause of the problem, and I know we're getting off subject a little bit, but if we start getting into the root cause of the problems of why we need this whole village concept, right? Because I'm not saying a village isn't needed, but it shouldn't be dependent on to the point to where we need that coach, we need these teachers to operate a certain type of way in our kids' lives. When my daughter go to school, she's already secure in a lot of the things that teachers have to deal with other kids. So she's not looking for validation. She's looking to go in there and learn math. It's a different perspective in her mindset, and she's looking at a lot of these kids that's acting out as a result. And it's funny because in the beginning of the semester, her first hour teacher was having conversations and saying, hey, how you guys feel about, going to school online or whatever. And a lot of the kids was like, yo, my dad and my mom was arguing because she kicked them out of the house and they're getting a divorce. And so I'm not feeling great. So when I hear people saying, things about 2-parent and 1-parent households, it kind of strikes me a little bit, because I've heard in real time this year from several kids saying how they're having difficulty and why they're acting out, and why the teacher have to spend extra time participating in this kid's life outside of what she gets paid for, which is to teach them math, why she has to spend this extra time doing parenting work from a broken relationship within the home.
I get that. And the thing is, maybe for your rebuttal, I shouldn't have mentioned coach or teacher. But the thing is, it still has to be a stopgap of the village. Does not just solely mean the teacher or, the coach or whomever. The thing is, it still goes back to family. And we define family, especially Black folks. A village may be the neighbor that is almost like a family member, but really they're not blood. So the thing is, I think that if you really are 2 parents that's working in a household and you have the flexibility to say that, you know what, the mom is a stay-at-home mom, technically the father is not physically there to be present the entire day.
All right. I got a perfect question for you, B-Nix. What wouldn't you do for your kids?
I don't think there's a thing that I wouldn't do for them. I would try to do whatever I can. So
would be willing to endure in a relationship longer than you normally would have had you not had kids, in order to enable your kids to have the best possible future in life, if you knew that would affect them in a negative way?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing where I feel like
no. You skipped over that year.
Like,
you skipped over that year.
I'm not giving them fulfillment because I'm arguing with the person I don't want to be with in front of them or in the room next to them.
Wait. My point is you said yes first. Before you gave all of that extra, you said yes.
Hey, man, you on some Jedi mind trick stuff.
You said yes.
Don't do that. Just be like, you try to, okay, I know what
we all do.
You win. You win that argument, but going back to my rebuttal, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it.
Endure more than we
would
for the benefit of others around us and the kids.
I want to ask Tawana
All
something.
right, I changed my answer. I would not. It was certain things that I wouldn't do.
I'm curious what you want to say.
Hey, Tawana, I want to get your opinion about this. I know we kind of got a little bit off topic of the question, but I think, we didn't. But I just wanted to ask her. I think her opinion is important with this question. Tawana, I want to ask you, how much does kids factor in a man's decision to get married?
Okay, I'll tell you how it factors into my decision to get married. I don't know how it factors into a man's decision to get married, because I feel like it was the reason why I got married. It's because I was pregnant at the time. And I felt like, I wanted to have the father in the home with me, and I wanted to have a partner to help me raise my son. And I thought that was important. So I thought marriage was the way to ensure that would stay intact, right? Because I was 25 when I got married, or 23. I was way younger than I am now. And so that was a huge reason why we both probably got married. You know, I can't speak to why he asked me. It could have been because I was pregnant. It could have been because of the same reasons that I wanted to get married. I mean, he, you know, says that it was just because he wanted to marry me, but you don't know, you know, why men ask. I'm just saying that I think that I stayed in the marriage for 8+ years because I had children, and I felt like
Tawana.
that was important. So yeah, I can only speak to my experience.
Okay.
I think everyone has different reasons why they stay in marriage, and I do not want to speak to a man's experience because I'm not a man. So all I can
I
say is that
I understand. I understand.
I'm not a
I
man.
understand that you. I know.
My,
I understand that you're not a man, but
yeah.
just I'm just trying to
I don't think that. I
get
don't
how
think
you view it. You don't think that men.
if that's the case, then my 54-year-old mother wouldn't have got married. Like, I don't believe that men just stick around for marriage just because of kids. Like, no, I don't believe that. I don't think that
Okay.
that is the primary reason that anyone does. I mean, I'm telling you my personal experience and why I felt like I wanted to stay as long as I did. I didn't only get married because I was pregnant, but that was the primary reason. Like, I got married because I loved him and I wanted to be with him for the rest of my life. Like, and I thought that I was going to be a family. But I don't think that people just get married and stay married for the kids. No, I think that's naive for us to think that way. And
That was the first thing that you said, though. You said that you got married
because I
partially
said
because
primarily,
you was pregnant.
primarily.
So if that's the main reason why you got married, how can you say that's not the reason why people get
But
married?
she's saying that's not a good that's not a good reason to do that.
And I don't think
But
that
that
that's
wasn't his
the only
question.
reason.
He said his question was, is that what people do? Not is that a good reason for people to do it?
But the questions like to put people in a box, and I don't believe in that. Like, I believe that.
But that's what you did.
No, I talked about my own personal experience, and then you can draw from that whatever you believe is the reason.
I know what
right?
I'm drawing.
So I can only speak for my
what
own
I'm drawing
personal
from it is
experience.
that's what you believe.
Like, I'm not gonna say because I got married for this reason that's why people get married. Like, I don't know why everyone. I know the people who are just truly in love. I know married couples right now who don't have kids at all. I know people who are married for 10 years and they have not one child.
But
and I know people who have been married for the past 7 years that don't have any children. So I can't say that people just get married because of children, because it's a lot.
Based off your own personal experience, that is what you're saying, though, is what I'm saying.
I don't believe that. No.
Oh, okay.
And my personal experience. Okay, so if we want to talk about my personal experience and what I've seen and what I've witnessed, I know a lot of women who get married at older ages once they established, once they have their careers together, and they're still successfully married, and they already had children, or maybe like both of their partners had children and they joined together. And so I don't believe that that's the reason why they are married. I feel like they're married because they're at a place in their life where they know what they want. They've established, this is what I need in a partner, and then they're very secure in that. And I think that once we start to change our ideas about what marriage is about, it's not about financial security anymore. It's not about marrying someone so that you can be financially stable. It's more so about, okay, getting together, partnering, and enhancing each other's lives in different ways. And so once you get
so maybe one variable that factors into it should be age, right? Because people that get married at certain ages or at certain points in their lives or careers obviously would have different reasons as to why they get married.
Right.
However, a lot of people in their, let's just say 20s, early 30s, I think that kids play a huge role in the decision-making process. I'll say it like that.
It played a huge role in my decision-making when I was that age, when I was pregnant with my children. Absolutely. It played a huge role.
I mean, it wasn't a factor at all. Like, it just why as far as initially why I got married, because Tawana, I mean, you said 25, right? Yeah, so I got married when I was 25 too, but we didn't have kids then, so the thing is, like, I mean, yeah, we talked about it, but it wasn't on my radar as, oh yeah, this is one of the contributing factors as to why I'm getting married right now. But we all have different stages we are in our life. I think I looked at marriage as a level of stability. a level of dedication. And I mean, even though like you ever know like you want what you want, and when you know what you want, then it's kind of like
Okay,
why
so
play the game?
Absolutely.
Why play
why
the
we
dating
don't
game if I
celebrate
know what I
Future?
want and I
Like
got
he
what
just
I
have
want?
a bunch of kids with a bunch of baby mamas, and he catch all the flack in the world. Why he catch so much flack if that's not if that is not a thing in our society? If everything is just so everybody do what they want, do what makes you happy, base it off of how you feel at that specific moment. Why do Future catch so much flack for having so many kids by so many different baby mamas?
Hey,
He can take care of them all.
Well, I don't know that
But he
man personally,
doesn't.
but I want to say if you got kids, you still got to take care of them.
He
I
don't
think,
take care of
like,
them. That's the
I
problem.
I think it's more so the being a father,
He's
married
not a
or
good
not
father.
married.
Exactly.
Yeah, you still got to be present. So that's
That's
that's a for another day, another topic. But
Hey, Anton, I want to ask you a question. Are men marrying the woman who they love or the woman that has been around?
hmm,
I don't think that men are marrying the women that they love. They just marrying the woman that stick around long enough to endure through whatever it is that they put them through in order to make you know what I'm saying? Like it's a gauntlet. It's a
sad.
test. Everything is a test. And so listen, if we made decisions based off of who we think we love. People say they love people that they never actually met before. They have crushes on people and be like, yo, I'm in love with her.
What you talking about, catfish?
And so I don't think that men ultimately make that decision. I know guys that got married because they felt pressured. Honestly.
oh yeah, that
And
pressure. Yeah, hey, I'm with
honestly.
you. That pressure, right, Tawana?
And so, you know,
No, ain't no pressure.
real
Jedi
talk.
master.
I know
Well,
guys in real life.
wherever.
I know guys in real life
This
that got
is why I don't
married
respect
because it was
men.
the
Because
pressure.
of pressure. Come on now. What's
You
They
know
didn't
what?
have nothing
I
to do with
agree
love.
with you, Anton, but for
pressure?
different reasons. I
It
You
agree.
are
didn't have
not the
nothing to do with
victim.
love.
No, not about the victim stuff. I
I don't.
agree with.
Okay, let me say it like this. Let me summarize it like
Okay,
this.
'cause I want to support you in this one.
I don't think
So don't
love.
say nothing to make me not want to support. I feel you're gonna do something.
I'm gonna summarize it like this. I
Oh
don't
shit!
think love, and I'm not saying that it doesn't factor into it or that that is not the number one reason for a lot of people. I don't think love is the number one reason why the majority of men cross over and get married. I'll say it like that. I think that there's a lot of other reasons and a lot of other factors that play into why and when and how they go about doing things. But I don't think that love is the number one reason for the overwhelming majority of men that decide to get married, especially early in their life.
The only reason I was going to say I was going to agree with you, which you kind of left a cliffhanger with. Now I'm
What'd you
unsure.
say? Oh,
But the thing is because I do agree with Anton about from the singular variable about longevity of being with someone over the course of time that I think men do value that. But I think as a man, I also look at that as the aspect of love. You know what I mean? Because of that longevity and that history and
Yeah,
those
I
moments.
agree with you though, B Nix.
Yeah.
I'm talking
But-
about the initial
But
marriage
you
itself.
said the way you said it, you know how I am. You said it in a way where it's like, yeah, I gotta go. Hey, it's been like 10 years. I'm gonna just go ahead and just give her a ring and like out of obligation. You know what I mean?
It is.
So
A lot of people
no,
do
don't
that,
say
though.
it. I already know what you're about to say. Cause you almost just
No.
said it. Cause you said, well, it is. It's
No. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that's the everybody or you know what I'm saying. I'm saying that I personally know a lot of guys, and I've heard their story, and they're like, man, I didn't even want to get married, to be honest with you, bro. And they, you know, in hindsight, because I think hindsight a lot of times brings a lot of clarity, because you're moving a lot of times out of emotion, especially when you're younger, and you're making decisions with blinders on. And it's not all the picture is not always clear. You're doing it based off of what you think the experience is going to be and how people are painting what marriage is to you. You're
That's
not
true.
going into it with eyes wide open.
well,
And so
that's
a lot
true,
of
but-
times when people have time to reflect on why they did the things that they did, you can talk to women and they'll say, at the time they'll say, oh, I really loved them. And then in hindsight, they'll be like, you know what? I really had daddy issues and I was looking for validation. You know what I'm saying? So there can be a lot of different reasons and factors in hindsight when people have clarity and time to really think on why they did what they did. And I think that when they do that, they realize that it's not entirely out of love. The love was a lot of times the reason or the excuse to how they was able to push themselves. But I don't think that was the primary factor in how and why they went ahead and did what they did.
I slightly agree with you, but I think we all got different motivations. Because I mean, I hate to backtrack, but you mentioned about the two-parent household versus the single household. Like, so
Yeah.
I grew up in a single-parent household, but my grandmother was there, my first cousin was there, so it was like family, right? So I feel like,
Yep.
and I know you're gonna say like, but B Nicks, you don't count, but I feel like I still turned out all right. But
No,
the
you
thing
count.
is,
You count.
but the thing is, I want to say that I needed a model of like what does it mean to be married, and I didn't get that from my father. It was actually from my brother, and I'm my mother's only child, but we got the same father and stuff. But the thing is, he got married when I think he was I think 28, right? And the thing is, he was one of the few people that I knew in my life that got married for one when they young, and the shit seemed so fucking cool. He made the shit seem dope, like it made it seem
Nice.
like I could do that shit. Cause the thing is, I looked at him in a respectful way, like he's the reason I became a Kappa. He's the reason I went to college. He's the
Aw,
reason I got a job. So the thing is, like,
that's good.
oh, he got married, he had children, so it can work. And I think that's why we reach to these celebrities and stuff where we're looking for this model. When we always say like, "Oh yeah, black love, woo 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 woo," but because we don't see it in our own environments, that we still try to seek it out. But to slightly support what you're saying, people then get married for the wrong reasons. Because then we reach. Sometimes we overreach, and we be like, "All right, well, I just got to get married." Like, well, I would say Will and Jada, but that's not a good example anymore. I say Barack and Michelle. But the thing is like now, like to your point, Anton, they may get married for these other reasons, thinking that is something that is really not, because you want it so bad, you know. But the thing is, you be like, man, how I'm gonna get it? Same thing I think when like children. So children do play a factor, but it goes back to like I think more so not necessarily for men, but I think men do look at it like, man, hey, I'm getting old now. Man, I need to have a seed or something, man. My legacy almost over with. So it is that the stages in our life, I think, dictate when and why we get married because of these moments or these windows that we think that's about to close on us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you're half right, Anton. So you get half credit tonight. Hey, man, take that as a win.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and close this one on out. Tawana, you said that most men don't aspire to be married. You said that's false, right?
That's your soundbite. That's what you said.
I guess. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So all that
Okay.
being said, Tawana said men.
Right. Everything I said, that's how you sum my shit up. You see how misleading that is? Okay. Now y'all don't want to get married because
Yeah, the end. That's it. Just
that's it.
there, like, damn.
But ain't no pressure and ain't no forcing. Period. That's a mentality.
All right, next in closing, you saying that most men don't aspire to be married, right? They don't.
No, we don't. But the thing is, I think that we got to look at why we want to get married. You know, we all kind of talked about different reasons on why we have gotten married in the past or would like to get married. Everybody got different reasons why they get married. So I think that going back to a bigger topic about being self-reflective, knowing who you are, knowing a sense of self. If you don't have no sense of like what's your life plan, no, I ain't getting married because I don't even know what type of career I'm gonna have. I don't know where I'm staying at. I don't know what I'm gonna do next year. All like if I don't know those basic functions, and Anton will probably say then what you used to say, Anton, like some people not supposed to get married then. They're not in your weight class, right? So the thing is you gotta figure out your weight class first to know what type of person you need to marry. But if you still struggling to figure out who you are, I almost want to say, nah, you shouldn't be getting married. So all that being said, like, nah, folks ain't inspiring to get married, but because they got some other issues they need to work out.
Anton, in closing, you said that most men don't aspire to be married, right?
Most men do not aspire to be married. That is absolutely correct.
What's wrong, Tawana?
I know that's just sad, right, Tawana? Sad.
I don't think it's sad. I think that most women don't want to marry y'all either, so it's good. You know, I think women kind of realize that it's no benefit to being married. You know, so we kind of like we chilling. You know, we chilling
Okay.
like a doing.
Oh, look at you. Hey,
We
you been
create our
coming
own
hard
independence.
tonight.
That's the next topic. Let's move on.
Oh man, folks bold tonight. Okay.
I'm
Hey,
just
keep
saying.
it going, JR.
Sounds good.
I
to
feel
me.
like I'm gonna close this out. I feel like that most men don't aspire to be married. I feel as though sometimes it take the right woman to kind of point
Yeah,
that
when
man
you
in
know,
that
you
direction.
know.
Yeah, well, you know. And then also, I think time. I think a lot of guys kind of wait to the end, so to speak, and
Hey,
then they
don't
feel
wait
like they
too
want to
late.
get married. Yeah, if you
Nobody.
wait too late.
Hey, you don't want to get too old, and nobody don't want you then. Don't wait too late.
Because the right stuff don't work.
Hey, trust and believe. We all don't look the same we used to when we was younger.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
may not have
The
may
blue
not have
pills
age
don't
no
work for
more.
everybody. I'm gonna tell y'all now.
Some people don't age well. You need to get
Right.
Y'all,
yours now.
If you're just joining us, welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk. We just finished our first topic, which was most men don't aspire to be married. Moving on to the next topic. Are independent women toxic? Are independent women toxic? B Nix.
I don't know. I want to say no, but you got to give me more than that. It's like, all right, they're independent, so that's a bad thing and stuff. You know, like hell, somebody married could be toxic. I just said that in the last show. Like it's I don't know. I don't know. Give me something else. Can you give me like a scenario or something?
I
A
mean, just think about
situation?
just thinking about a woman that's paved her own way.
Okay.
She has her own success. She
Okay.
has her own money. She really don't need anything from a male whatsoever. Um, she's focused. She's determined. She probably had a point to prove at some point in time in her life. And now comes the dating aspect. Now let's say she's about 27.
Okay.
She's lived her life. She's gone through her whole phase. Um, she's ready to.
Wait. What? Say that. Wait. Run that back.
I said she's gone through a whole phase. Now she's looking to
Okay.
kind of, settle down. She probably had some guys
So college,
that,
basically.
yeah, college.
All right.
So now she's ready to establish herself as far as when it comes to being involved into serious relationships. And it could be troubling sometimes for different reasons. So my question was, are independent women toxic? Just put yourself in that
Okay.
situation. You got a strong-minded woman.
Uh-huh.
She's independent. She's been getting it on her own. So it kind of takes away from what the guy brings to the table. Can the guy bring anything to the table? We don't know. But dating this woman, is an independent woman toxic?
Did she wear gray leggings?
Occasionally,
All right, let me stop.
like occasionally, like when it's time to work out, she go to the gym. She put on those gray leggings.
No, I'm talking about like out to the gym, just to go to the store. One of them.
It's a
All
possibility.
right. Anyway, but you know what? I don't want to call that toxic, but I can see it being problematic, pending the type of guy that is also very kind of strong-minded and strong-willed. I feel that the traits that you mentioned. Okay, yeah, you could call it whatever you want. I could just call it I want to say shit. That's just being an adult, let alone just being independent. Like, you're an adult. You should be doing that anyway. But if that is the case, JR, since that's the scenario, the only way I could see it being not toxic, but I could see it being an issue if a man already has an idea of what type of woman he may want, and it becomes this level of friction. Because I think that going back to roles in the relationship, that still we do live in a society, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but some women want men to lead. But the thing is, if I'm a woman and I'm very independent, I'm strong-minded, I'm what you say, a alpha personality or whatever it's called. The thing is, then it could be something like,
You know what it's called.
all right, I can see there being a level of friction, but I'm not going to say it's toxic. I don't know. I just think that it could be like confrontational because you have to find someone that is your match. And a lot of times your match may not necessarily be an equal, maybe more of a who complements you. So I don't know. I don't even know if I'm answering your question properly, but I mean,
No, you answer. You answer up in your opinion. It's
yeah, I
good.
think it depends if you find somebody that's able to be your equal, but a complementary equal. Like two of the same doesn't work out. Two of the same types.
Tawana, do you feel as though independent women are toxic? I'm not talking about you. I know you're independent, but just I
I
mean, it
don't
could
care
be
what
Hey,
you who
Tawana
you talking about.
independent? Oh,
Any
hey, so
independent
that means
woman
she's
in the
toxic
world.
then, right?
That's
right.
Based on the
ridiculous.
criteria.
Listen,
Oh, you got to have
how
Tawana
is
come
a
through that little square she talking
how is
about.
a focused, educated, driven, self-directed, self-motivated woman toxic to anybody in this world? Absolutely not. Okay, having an education, being self-motivated, making sure you take risks, you are decisive, you can do things on your own, and actually, men are not even prepared to deal with a woman who's completely dependent on her,
Uh,
on him. A man cannot even
tell them how
handle
you feel, Tawana.
a man
Go
cannot
ahead.
even handle a woman who is completely dependent on him. Not in this day and age. You guys cannot even deal with that stress. So yeah, you need a woman who got a little sense, who can make decisions for herself, who knows how to think. And being independent has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to partner in a relationship and your ability to work with someone. Because independent women work in teams. We are leaders. We have a variety of topics, okay, or a variety of roles. And so this whole an independent woman is toxic is the entire reason why this whole how you gonna have a whole conversation about men not wanting to be married and then call independent women toxic? It is such a like boxed in question. It is ridiculous. I don't even know
JR.
how to
I
begin
know.
to address. No,
Yeah.
I'm not done because y'all
Your
have
tone
y'all
your
moments
tone
to
does
explain
sound
yourself.
problematic.
I'm gonna explain.
That is kind of a problematic tone that you're presenting with.
Yeah, I'm presenting a problematic tone. These are ridiculous ass questions.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard somebody in the background cracking
I
up. Who
don't
was
know. This
that?
does seem like
Because
this could be a difficult relationship.
your questions imply that it's something wrong with being independent. It is ridiculous to even make an assumption that you cannot be an independent thinker, an independent person out here, and that it's somehow problematic to this environment.
That
Like
part,
this is
JR.
crazy to
That
me.
part is toxic. That part.
Oh man, yeah,
No.
like
Toxic is the most overused word in America, and you know that.
Not in
And
this
now we
instance.
always want to ascribe
Anton.
everything and prescribe
Not in
everything
this
to being
instance.
toxic.
Anton, I
on.
want to
yeah,
ask
I
you that
don't know.
same
After this
question.
conversation now, Tawana, like, hey, seem like kind of intense. I don't know if I can handle this type of relationship to deal with all of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you know
Anton.
what? Y'all did not bring no,
Hold on, Tawana.
little chick on this
yeah,
show.
see, Tawana's
Okay.
still being
So y'all gotta
Hold
do
on,
problematic.
Nix.
something
Hold
for
on,
her.
Nix. Hold on, Nix. Hold on, Nix.
Tawana.
Keep it rolling. Anton,
independent
all right.
self.
Are independent women toxic?
I don't think that independent women are toxic. I think that when women wear their independence as a cape, it becomes toxic. And so I heard a good example over the weekend. When you asked the question, it reminded me. Now I come into the podcast, I try to come in like completely blind and not looking at the subjects because it allows me to have fresh thoughts. But I remember I was watching this video over the weekend, and the guy was talking about how his teacher, when he was coming up, was trying to push feminism and compare roles within the household by asking each individual student, and we talking about little kids, right? Asking each individual students who's in charge of the household and all of these different things. And he gave the analogy really well. He broke it down. He says, listen, I'm not looking for somebody to be me. I'm looking for somebody that does other things well, and there's nothing wrong with us having different roles. He said, if we were on a sinking ship and I'm holding up this pipe right here and I'm trying to do it, and then there's something else that you can do to prevent the sink from shipping, but you over here saying, well, I can lift up the pipe too. He said, that doesn't help us from sinking in the ship. He said, the goal is to prevent the ship from sinking not to compare who can hold up the pipe the longest. And so what I thought that was a great way to break it down, in that there's nothing wrong with women being independent, but it becomes toxic when it's almost like when I look at it like the LGBTQ community, when they have to highlight the fact that they are gay. It's like, I don't go around saying I'm heterosexual. I just like who I like. Like, if I wound up liking guys and you never knew that, I wouldn't have a problem with you not knowing that I like guys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like guys. But the point that I'm making is that, you know, you don't have to wear it as a flag. And the difference is that when it becomes assertive and women become overly aggressive and stubborn as it relates to trying to champion how independent they are, it becomes toxic, because guys don't like hypermasculinity. They like feminism. They like, or not feminism, they like femininity. They like women that are women. They like soft. They like to feel on something. They don't want, if they wanted to be with another man, then they would be with another man. They're not looking for that. Overwhelming majority of guys that I know, they're looking for a woman to be a woman. And so you don't have to bring that in every setting that you go to. I don't even have to bring like a hyper level of masculinity in every set. Sometimes, you know, my chick will be like, yo, you know, I just want to lay with you or whatever like that. Like, it don't have to be always strong or whatever. And that's where the toxicity comes in a relationship. We don't need you to wear it as your flag. Just be normally you, and then we can figure it out as we go. You don't have to champion it in every single thing that we well, I'm my own woman. I can pay my own. Okay, I didn't even ask you all of that. All right, we just on a date. I don't need you to compare who can pay the bill first. Like, just chill. Let's just have a good time.
B Nix, do independent women know how to allow a man to lead?
I don't know.
Really,
I don't
really,
know.
Big Nick, you can't answer this question. He like,
I don't know. No, I couldn't find the mute button. But I can see it being an issue, because I think that, you know, nothing wrong with being independent, but it's one of those, like, you know, not to give another car example, but only one person can drive at one time, right? So the thing is, like, who's gonna be the differential person based on the situation? And I think that uh, I think sometimes people struggle with that, you know, and not to say, like, I think Anton gave some solid examples about what men may want as far as, you know, I think you said solve some infection, somebody supportive, and not to say it's like that all the time, but the thing is, like, I think there's a level of a stereotype that I think that's associated with an independent woman that can be great, but also on the flip side of that same coin, it could be viewed negatively, where it's like this person won't allow the man to be a man. And I think I've seen, like, a few situations where someone is a very independent woman and very strong, very, you know, on a, you know, about her business and whatever like that. But then the man is not the man per se. Pretty much, he's just taking orders and stuff, you know. So the thing is, I feel like it has to be a balance. But I have seen cases where an independent woman is running the relationship, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I feel for some men it becomes like this power struggle, you know, like, because it's like this war, this waging within the relationship of, like, who's top dog, for lack of better words. And the thing is, unless you got a relationship where, like, y'all willing to coexist, some people gonna be like, man, hey, I don't I don't respond to that, you know. Because the thing is, you got to think about how somebody may receive somebody that's independent. I'm not saying that if you're an independent woman, you gotta, like, dumb yourself down or make yourself docile or anything like that. But if if you're dating a particular man, some man may see a threat in that. Like, think about, like, just small things that may be viewed as a threat to men, like height. You know, there's some people that have a threat with height if a woman is taller than them. You know what I'm saying? And it's silly, but these are things that are very real. That there are certain things that men, and not to say, and Twan, I know you laugh and make it seem like men are these fragile creatures and stuff,
Now I'm losing a lot of respect for this whole idea of manhood. If you can allow someone to take your manhood away, if you can say to me that a woman can make you not be a man anymore, I don't care who it is. I don't care what type of woman. She could be a macho, Meg the Stallion type, 6 feet tall type woman. Can't nobody take my manhood away from me if I'm like, can't no woman. Ain't nobody take my womanhood.
Antoine
My
said
one
they
woman
those are
in this world.
simps. Last show,
No,
you know what I mean? He said those
that's
just
some
straight
weak
simps.
stuff.
So
That's weak.
the simp does exist. That's why we still use the terminology.
But I'm gonna tell you right now that if a woman can take your manhood, you got bigger issues than just a man,
Hey,
an
it may not be an
independent woman
issue.
being in your life.
It may not be an issue. It may not be an issue in
It
that
might not.
relationship. So the thing is, like, hey, and then what we say, to each his own, right then, Tawana? So the thing is one of those like, hey, it happens. But I think that sometimes there are men that,
Yeah.
okay, I'll give you another example, which I might be going off script, JR, but it's one of those like, I was just talking to my homegirl about this, where I'm always going to go with a workplace example. Like, hey, in the workplace, some men don't like to receive directives from women, right? And the thing is, this is kind of a byproduct of that same thing. Because then you can say, like, oh, yeah, she's an independent woman. She runs the company. She's the CEO. That sounds fucking awesome. But then you got that one person in that department be like, who she thinks she is, telling me I'm late. But you're late, though. So the thing is some men, so don't act like it's not real. There are men out there that truly are not comfortable with receiving, and I won't say directives, because then it makes it seem like a relationship is like a job, but they're not willing to receive the person, the delivery of information between a relationship from that woman because of her level of independence. So it goes back to like, hey, you need to get a man that, like, going back to weight class, right? Hey, you need to get somebody in your weight class. If this ain't it, then why entertain it? If this person can't handle you. And that same thing for a man. If you got a woman that's weak, that's not independent or not strong, or you do want someone that's more soft and more affectionate, go get that. But don't entertain and waste somebody else's time knowing that you ain't the right fit. And that's the thing. We stay in relationships a lot of times too long because we're thinking that we're just going to try to make it work. I'm going to just kind of change who I am. If you got to change who you are, then that means that you shouldn't even be in a relationship if you can't be you. And guess what? People are miserable because of the fact that they felt they changed themselves for this person and it's not being appreciated.
Hey, Anton, does a strong woman with a strong man know how to listen?
Say that one more time, JR.
Does a woman with a strong man know how to listen?
I think a lot of times it could be difficult because my grandmother,
they too strong-minded,
was one of them type of women, and a lot of times she would tell me, like, she would have the conversations, and the conversation wouldn't necessarily be,
too strong,
I'm actually trying to have the conversation, because a conversation is both things. Is me listening to you and then responding.
I'm happy to listen to y'all, though.
And then you listening to me and responding back. It's a two-way street. But she would often say to me, Anton, I already know the answer. I already know what needs to be said. I'm just waiting on them to get to the point to where they'll receive what it is that I'm going to say. So in that instance, right, that is very much a stubborn mentality. And so nobody wants to be with, and I'm not even going to just spin it just from a woman's perspective, right? Nobody wants to be with somebody that is just stubborn 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can all know what we know. You can be an expert plumber, and I can be an expert electrician, but we got to work together to put this house together, fam. And just because you're a plumber don't mean, you're a master plumber, does not mean that you know how to wire this house up. So I think that women that are that headstrong, right, that are too headstrong, often at times find themselves by themselves. And we've seen this with, what was that woman's name that went on this big old rant? She was the white conservative lady. I don't know if y'all remember, but she was going off about how, this is what we wanted me in and all of this other type of stuff. Gosh, what is that chick's name? But anyways, she made big headlines because she was telling men how to be men. And whether she was right or not, don't nobody want to hear from a woman how to be a man. You see what I'm saying? So you have to have a level of submissiveness on both sides, but we speaking specifically to women. You have to have a level of submissiveness to your partner in order for you to be able to enable them to have some level of dignity, power, say so. If I know that this guy is putting his house together, right, and I feel like I know a better way to do it, to let him be able to say what he want to say and to be able to express how he feels about because it may be a better idea than mine, but that automatic headstrong, I don't want to hear nobody, I already know the answer, this is what I want. You don't even know what you don't even know what you don't know yet. None of us do. I feel like I know a lot now, but I know that I'm going to be a lot wiser 10 years from now, but it's all going to be based off of experiences and lifestyles and interacting with people and them giving me insight into things that I don't already know. But if I approach the situation already feeling like I know everything, what's the point of us having a conversation? That relationship becomes a dictatorship. It's not even a relationship no more. It's you telling me what I need to do in order for me to feel like fulfill whatever this thing is that you have in your mind of what a man is supposed to be. Nobody wants to be with a woman like that. I would say calm way down, be really relaxed, and get the heck up out of there if you're a guy in that type of situation. Don't subject yourself to any woman, no matter what her circumstance is, no matter how fine she is, no matter how bad she is. Get the heck up out of there, bro. It's bad women that's single every single day.
Hey, Tawana, I'm going to shoot a response to Anton's point, and then I'm going to ask you that same question.
Which point you want me to just respond to? I'm so confused about that. Let me say something.
I don't understand. I don't understand why you're confused. Let's start there.
Let's start with why you think that I am going to talk about why independent women are what did you say? Single? What did you say? I'm confused. What was this question about? I'm just trying to connect why I have an opinion about this in any way.
Like, I think
I'm just trying to figure it out.
I think Anton made a good point.
Okay, can you tell me the point that you think he made?
About the
did JR's free?
If he's building a house.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, can you repeat that, JR?
You froze a little bit, JR, because I couldn't hear you.
I can hear him.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
If you could just run the question back.
Yeah. Tell the question because I couldn't hear. It stopped like midway.
Okay. Apologize for that.
That's okay.
The whole point that Anton was basically, so I think he made a good point. So I wanted you to address that. The point that I heard was that the woman, let's just say for example that he used was building a house. If you're building a house and the man has some insight on how to build a house, but you already have set in your mind because you're stubborn about how the house should be built, like the woman is not listening. Like women that are strong-minded, like it's a problem because they don't want to listen. So I basically wanted you to try. Do you feel that strong, independent women talk to them?
It cut off halfway through, but I'm gonna respond to what I heard as far as whatever Anton was saying about strong women not being able to listen. So I think that's completely absurd. I will say one thing about independent women is that they're typically very intelligent women, very smart women. They know how to communicate very clearly. They know how to listen. And so I think that all of the statements that we've said is problematic. And so here's the thing, when you start calling independent women stubborn and you start labeling independent women as other things, and when you start to say negative things about being independent as opposed to embracing that positivity, because all of the things that you're saying about these characteristics are not necessarily characteristics of independent women. So these are two separate ideas and two separate people that we're talking about. And so for us to be saying that because a woman is independent, she's rude, she's disrespectful, she's bossy, she can't partner with someone, she is unreasonable and unable to be in a successful relationship is problematic, because that's absolutely not true. And it's not true in a lot of different ways. And I don't believe that that's the same type of woman. And so if you want to subscribe these characteristics to independent women and being independent, I'm not for that. But if you want to talk about women who are disrespectful to their men, cool. I will not say that those women are independent women who basically just have, don't need a man. Really what independence means is that you can support yourself, that you are completely okay with providing your own life, taking care of your responsibilities, and you don't need a man to do that for you. That is all independent means. And nothing is wrong with getting an education, learning, having your career, working hard to get to a place where you can do those things for yourself. And it has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you can partner and respect a man in your life. Do you have to tolerate certain behavior? No. Do you have to tolerate a man, doing things that you necessarily wouldn't deal with, like cheating and, doing all these other, you don't have to tolerate that. So you may actually be like, I'd rather just kind of live by myself. I can take care of myself. Like, I guess if you're dependent on a man financially, then maybe you have to tolerate certain behavior because you have no choice. But when you have a choice and you're like, well, I like you and I want to have you in my life and we communicate well and we work well together. But if you can't respect my boundaries and we don't have boundaries that we both, have in place, you don't want me to cheat on you, so you can't cheat on me. Like, then maybe a woman will decide that she don't want to be in that relationship anymore. But to say that a woman who is independent is stubborn and can't take direction and can't listen and don't have a sense of partnership and how to coexist with a man is just ridiculous. So yeah, that's what I felt. That's what I think about those comments.
You think about the thing about it, JR, is that, and I think that even B Nix would agree with this, is that I never said that independent women are toxic. I said independent women that carry that as a cape, it can create an toxic environment. So that's one of the things that I'm emphasizing right now, is that an inability to be able to hear things clearly is what creates a toxic environment. Even me having to go back and backtrack and say, yo, I didn't even say that. This is what I really said. And
well,
this
I was
is why I
responding
meant
to JR and his comment. I was not responding to specifically what you said. JR asked me a follow-up question. I thought it was relevant for me to speak to my position. And I don't think that you can have any label on any woman and say what a woman who acts a certain way and think a certain way can't be with somebody, because that's totally false. And
there's
a lot of different men out here in this world who loves the independent woman. And as I stated before, you men cannot even handle a woman that's completely dependent on you for everything.
You just did it though. You just did the very thing that you said that men shouldn't do. You just labeled men and said a lot of men can't even handle it. Like that's labeling them. When you say something like the very thing that you're preaching against is the same thing that you're saying that we shouldn't do, is what I'm saying.
What I'm preaching against is labeling women that are independent.
We can label them because y'all labeled yourselves that. That's not something y'all made a whole song. Beyonce championed it. Like, y'all labeled yourselves. All we did was take what you labeled yourself and addressed it. So we're not labeling
that we don't listen to men. And that we're stubborn, and that we can't partner.
No, what we're
all
saying
the women
is,
who pay your own bills, throw your hands up. What's wrong with a woman paying her own bills? and maybe she's making sure she's secure in life and making
nobody,
sure she take care of
even
herself.
JR, neither myself nor JR ever said that there's anything wrong with a woman paying her own bills. What we said was using that as a way to champion yourself and to compare yourself to men in that way is what makes it toxic, because it creates a conversation that's unnecessary. We don't have to even have a conversation about whether or not you're paying your own bills because nobody brought it up.
No woman who pays her own bills and who's independent has to brag about that. It's just not even something. It's like, this is what I do.
So why bring it up?
My normal life.
Why'd you bring it up then? So why'd you bring it up?
Well, this is JR's topic. I probably would never speak about being an independent. I'm just saying. I'm just going to speak to it because let me just say this. Like, I am 10 years in my career. I've done a great job. I got my education. I went to further my education. I got certifications, and I'm super proud of it. And I will never actually, try to negate that or pretend like I'm less than just because everyone else has an opinion about independent women. I'm just going to say this, that I feel that I have been in very successful relationships, and I just don't agree with that. And I do think that I'm open to listening to what my partner has to say. And I think a lot of independent women, we want to hear what our partners have to say. The reason why we partner with people is because we want their opinion and we want to be a teammate with them.
But I got a newsflash for you though. I got a newsflash for you though. If you're in a relationship, you're not independent anymore. You're codependent. So we can throw that whole label out the window.
Yeah.
Like, you're not still independent. Let's stop acting like you are. I'm not talking about you specifically.
No, I believe that. I'm not saying, and listen, I don't want to specifically talk about my life and how I'm living things. I do want to speak to just that situation. But yeah, if you're in a relationship, you clearly have demonstrated. And I don't know if, I've ever been outside of a relationship and I can really speak to it. But I'm just saying that I have experience, paying my own bills and taking care of myself and supporting myself. And I don't think that that's any indication that I'm not able to listen to a man and respect, his opinion and partner with someone. But am I going to tolerate any kind of disrespect, abuse, and anything else and less than what I feel like I deserve as a woman who have established herself, who can take care of herself? No, I'm not. And it is nothing wrong with it. I'm just not going to tolerate that.
Hey, B Nix, I want you to close us out, and I want you to also answer this question. Are independent women too aggressive?
No, but I think Anton mentioned this point, I think twice now, about like being, I guess, boisterous on how you wear it as a cape can be a divider, So the thing is, there's nothing wrong with being independent. I mean, all jokes aside, I don't think it's necessarily toxic, but I feel like if you're kind of brandishing this throughout the entire relationship, yeah, it's an issue. Because it's like, if y'all in this together, that's an issue. If you can't just be who you are, because then it's almost like it's a fictional character that you feel like you got something to prove. Nobody wants to be around anyone that feels like they have to continue to prove or throw something in your face over and over. They're like, hey, you making money, cool. Hey, you your own boss, that's great. That's why I chose you. Because think about it. We pick people who we want to be with anyway. That's why I chose you. But I already know what you represent and what you're about. You don't have to continuously, like, almost antagonize me about it. So the thing is, I think it can be an issue depending on how it's presented. The idea of just being independent, just the base of that, the foundation of being an independent woman, that's dope. The issue of continuing to tell me that you're an independent woman or that you're this, that's overkill. I know that. That's why I chose you. So I think that's the part that, like, man, folks need to kind of curb, who, really just take a back seat to, like, you won already. You're in the relationship. You already won. There's nothing else to prove. So I think that's the part where that's the sticking point where it becomes an issue. And going back to sustainability of a relationship, that's why possibly the sustainability isn't there and those relationships don't last, because you continuously are using this as like this antagonizing tool in order to possibly demean someone, to belittle someone, to embarrass. And that's the part where I think this is downright selfish. I mean, own who you are. I get that. We all are very confident people, but if you already in a relationship, it ain't nothing to brag about. You already won.
Tawana, we should go ahead and close us out on this one. I know you said that independent women are not toxic. Are they aggressive?
No, no. Independent women are not aggressive. Toxic women are aggressive. Women who don't have conflict resolution skills are aggressive. Women who don't have sufficient healthy coping mechanisms that they've learned throughout life are aggressive. Independent women are role models. They are excellent people to look up to for women in general. They are women who I aspire to be like. Like, there is no, just because you're in a relationship, the thing that is different for an independent woman is that if anything happens, she will be able to take care of herself, and she will not be a damsel in distress. An independent woman has her own mind. You know, she knows how to navigate through life. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having those mindsets. It does not indicate that you are not sufficient enough or you can't be a good partner. You can be a great partner and have that sense of independence, and it actually can help even enhance the relationship that you're in. So I absolutely feel like independent women get mislabeled all the time and get judged based on stereotypical views of what an independent woman should look like. And it's actually the opposite. And independent women are more willing to, you know, partner and navigate and work in teams than a lot of women out here. So I just don't agree with that.
Hey, Anton, close us out. Are independent women aggressive?
I'm gonna keep it nice and short. I'm gonna pass on these independent women. I'm gonna take a hard pass. Let's put it like that. I think that they are overly entitled and aggressive, and they have unrealistic expectations. And I am not interested in having that conversation. I think it's a beautiful thing that we all have a choice, and I'm gonna take my choice and and go somewhere else. I'm gonna do a hard pass on these independent women.
All right, well, there you have it. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk. We just got through finishing up our topic about independent women. I'm not going to be mad if you tell me the truth. I think that's a statement that we've all are familiar with. We've heard it a lot, especially if you hear the truth. Be next.
Hey, can you like run it back one more time for me, like just a short version?
It was cutting off, JR.
It was cutting off.
You. Yep.
Okay. I'm not going to be mad if you tell me the truth. Do people really want to hear the truth?
Huh.
Be next, that's for you.
No, 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 they don't. People not built for it, man. The thing is, like, I mean, you know what, Anton? As much as I talk crap about you, I mean, you do make points. I just hate your delivery. But one of the things is like you said in the past about everything doesn't need to be discussed, right? But the thing is, if you're gonna discuss it, I'm gonna give it to you. So the thing is, if you're gonna ask me the question, then I'm gonna give it to you. The thing is, if you feel that you're not secure to handle the possible, not the answer you want to hear, but the answer that you might hear that may not align with your answer, then don't even ask me the question. And that's something I have to learn. I feel that, you know what? As a man, we've created these issues. How do I look in this? Oh, it looked fine, baby. If it don't look fine, don't say it. I've learned, and I'm not even saying it from like my current relationship, but hey, just be 100. Be like, nah, man, you can't roll with me. We can't go outside when you looking like that. Just say that. Like the thing is, we as men have gotten conditioned in a way where, oh well, I don't want you to get upset. I want to make you feel good. I want to do like, nah. If you're gonna ask me that, I gotta give it to you. So the thing is like, I feel like we get caught up in this like, do you really want to hear the truth? I feel like, no, people can't handle the truth. I mean, not to even be on no cliche stuff. But the thing is, can you really handle it? And the thing is, everybody can't. So don't even ask. And I'm not saying that you can't be, you got to withhold information. But that means also you need to pick who you will partner with better, too. If you got a partner that's that fragile, that they can't handle you being 100 with them, hey, don't be with them. You just as weak. Cause you lying to the person, feeding them more bullshit. So both y'all lying to each other, man. What type of relationship is that? It's a waste of time. But if that's what you want to do, if you want to live your life wasting your time, shaving years off your prime of your life on a wasteful relationship, go forth. But overall, no, folks don't want to hear the truth.
Tawana, I'm not mad. I'm not gonna be mad if you tell me the truth.
Man, that's a
people
lie.
really want to hear
I'm
the
sorry. Every
truth.
time you say that, be like, man, that's a lie.
It's a trigger. It's a trigger. Be next. It's like, nah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I felt a little triggered from this question tonight, man. But yeah, go ahead, Tawana. I forgot this is your spot. I just felt triggered for a minute.
It's okay. Just go ahead. Speak freely. Go ahead and finish it though.
For men or women.
Yeah.
I said this for men or women. I'm not going to be mad if you tell me the truth. Do people really want to hear the truth?
Let me dissect this. Okay, so I don't think we should care what people want to hear. I think we should tell the truth. The reason why I think we should tell the truth is that you should always be true to yourself. And I don't think you can, the problem with people is that they fear the consequences of telling the truth. See, once you get over that hump of, I don't really care how that person feels about what I'm got to say, but I got to say this, then you just come into it and you tell the exact truth. And a person just has to end up accepting who you are and exactly what you offer. And so I honestly feel like that's what I do. I just kind of hit people with who I am.
I agree.
I tell them who I am up front. And I think that it makes it easier to just adjust and deal with, like, you know what? She kind of is upfront with who she is, and this is what it is. And I think that it just kind of puts things in perspective, and you ain't gonna be surprised and somebody gonna tell you something, you're gonna be like, yeah, but she already told me that, so I don't know. And it ain't gonna even be a problem because I didn't already put it out there and let you know what it is. So I do think that regardless of how you feel, you tell the truth and you don't lie to people. Just
don't even think of the consequences.
Don't even do it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And you might not get none later. It's okay.
But do people want to hear the truth? Probably not, right? Like the truth stings sometimes, it hurts, but it's necessary. And so I get comfort in the truth. Like, I'd rather know why you're hesitant about whatever decision you're hesitant about versus me just figuring out, like, having these old conclusions that I'm drawing to myself. Like, I'm okay with knowing the truth. I'm good with it because I can make a decision. See, what you can't do is you can't be worried about the decision that a person's going to make because you told the truth. You got to tell the truth, and then whatever happens, that's what you got to deal with because that's life. And that's what it is. So I just don't lie. I just don't believe in lying. I think that's trapping people. I think that's keeping people in situations and doing things to people that's unnecessary. I think you always have to just be upfront and let people know what it is and let people make decisions for themselves. And if a person wants to be in your life and they want to be around you, something that you do is not going to deter that. So don't feel like you have to lie to people in order to keep them in your life. I don't agree with that.
That's I'm not gonna be mad if you just tell me the truth. Do people really want to hear the truth?
Do another hard pass, man. Hard, very hard pass.
JR, don't believe anything that Tawana is saying right now.
Yeah, I don't either though.
Because
I agree with you already. Anton.
Don't believe
But you
anything
gotta
that
believe me
Tawana
because
said.
I'm telling the truth.
Nah, that's like
Don't
you
believe
live,
anything she's
like
saying
the
right
I'm
now.
telling the
Yo.
truth.
Listen, bro. Listen. It's the reason why people put their best foot forward. People ain't stepping out the house. I'm gonna approach it from a couple different angles, right? Let's approach it from the perspective of a person that's single and going out to mingle and meet other people for the first time. People are not going out as their regular selves as they operate on a regular everyday basis. They're moving and they're operating in the best presentation possible, which is not ultimately an accurate representation of who they are on a daily basis. It's a lie in itself. It's a white lie. It's not like a lie like they're telling a lie. It's like, I'm not telling you the whole truth. So that in itself, for me, is a lie. Secondly, let's take the perspective of you're in a relationship. Is it wise to always say exactly what your truth is all the time? Absolutely not. People pick and choose their battles because guess what? I have to lay next to her at the end of the night. I got to go to sleep with her, right? And nobody wants to be in a space where their truth or how you feel or what you think is the truth is affecting your day-to-day activity. So I think that human nature says that we generally, and I don't necessarily agree with it, right? Because you have to, context matters. But for the most part, people generally do what they feel is going to yield them the best results, not necessarily what they feel like is the best thing to do. It's the reason why people lie on resumes. It's the reason why homeboys go and stunt in their friend's car. It's the reason why dudes had to make an adjustment when TLC made the song, said, I don't want no scrubs, and your homeboy sitting in the passenger. Like, there's a narrative that's created that says, yo, I have to present myself in the best possible way, no matter what that takes, right? It's the reason why we got filters on our phones when we post to Instagram and to Facebook and all this other type of stuff. It's all a lie. It's one big farce and lie that's being presented to the general public to make them feel a certain type of way about us so that we can yield the best results for ourselves. It's one big lie. Don't believe what Tawana's saying. She's saying everybody's going to, especially women, they're going to tell you, they're going to be like, yo, I want to hear the truth. Just tell me. Just tell me so that we can move forward and move past this. What they really saying is watch your mouth, pick and choose what you're going to say out of your mouth very carefully, because that can create a situation that's going to get very bad for you.
I agree. I think one of the things I did
I'm going to tell you.
No.
Hey, Nix, hold on, Nix. Like, I just want to say this. It's a question that women always say when they say how many people you ain't had sex with. They will not tell you that truth.
Yep.
They will not tell you that truth.
They will never tell you.
It's some things that you just better, you don't need to know that. Because if you do know.
Who cares?
It ain't your business. You shouldn't even ask.
See, be Nix. But
No.
no. We're not talking about.
I'm just making a point.
And men don't tell me the truth.
Somebody that asked the question, right? So if you asking a question, that means you really do want to know, right? But come on, man. You know that truth is not coming.
I just tell people it's not your business.
Why?
That's not the truth, though.
Yeah,
why?
That is the truth.
I was like, that does not make me feel better.
Because I don't care.
If anything, that raises the flag. Because
I'm trying to make you feel better.
Like anytime it's a decent number, anytime it's a decent response, nobody has a problem addressing it.
No, they don't. They tell you whatever number.
Anytime,
some women say a certain number their whole life.
Anytime they are concerned
okay.
of the response that's going to be
don't believe that.
in return, then they try to mask it. Same thing for me. And that's the point I'm just trying to prove. The point is that
every woman who
we all do it to a certain degree.
Women tell you numbers. Women tell you a number just because they know that men don't mind if they did with that particular number. So some women have that number memorized. They like 3.
But it goes back to the original question. Why not just tell the truth?
The one like
women
asking about.
But women know y'all can't handle the truth.
It was an example,
like,
B-Nix.
What value?
They know y'all can't handle the truth.
because
I
it
was just
matters
making
to
a
the
point.
See,
I
that's
was
the
just making a
thing.
point.
It don't necessarily
That is
have
not
to
our
have
business.
any specific value, but it probably matters to they asking it for a reason. Like for whatever reason, it matters to them. So why not just tell the truth?
I don't know. I think context matters.
Like I give you,
The thing is, it
like
goes
I give you
back
like
to,
another example.
I don't
I'm
think
gonna
you
give you
should
another
be asking
example.
a woman that. Y'all should just.
See what I'm saying? Now
That's
you
not
put
that's
parameters
not our
on it.
Hey,
business.
next,
Nah,
I'm gonna
nah.
give you another example. Like when women
Right.
ask you what happened in your last relationship, you know what happened? Like, do men always tell the truth, the whole truth,
Nope. Absolutely
or
not.
Nah, this
are you
supports what
telling,
Anton
or are
said.
you,
Don't
or
folks
are you
lie in the
telling,
interview? I mean, it's the same
or are you
thing.
telling her
It's
what she
like,
want to hear?
What you want to hear? Yeah, you said what I just said. Yeah, what you want to hear?
But it's the why though. Why? Because we want the best results, which means we got to
Well-
present ourselves the best way possible.
See, but my thing is like, you know what though? The only part that I hate about the approach is that you're probing, right? I would rather you just come forth with what you really want to know, like what you want to hear. Like, don't, because the thing is, the only thing, Tawana, that I disagree with what you did when you were talking about, like, hey, you say you want to know why. The thing is, it's the probing, because then one question, then it's another question, and another question, and another question. It's like, hey, just put everything on the table and let's have a conversation. Because now, instead of a conversation, I'm feeling like this is an interrogation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not saying you personally, but I feel like if you got something to say, put it all on the table. Like, I hate to say it, starts with I statements, right? Not you statements. Start with like, hey, this is how I feel about it. This is what I would like to know because of X, Y, Z. And the thing is, if you frame it from that way, all right, let's talk. Let's chop it up. Don't give me, because you piecemealing me an answer. Because you're going to either A, lie to me, or you're going to say like, well, why you want to know? And then it becomes one of these awkward back and forth conversations, and then we get no type of productive answer out of it all, and then it just is very awkward afterwards, you know.
Yo, if I ask you a question, I'm
You don't need to
actually
know that.
I'm asking you for a reason. Like I'm not like doing it.
Ain't no
just to-
possible reason to know that.
Yes, it is.
No,
Okay,
it's not.
so let me rephrase.
Here's
the
my
question.
last test results.
let
What
me
else
rephrase the
do you need
question.
to know?
Let me rephrase the question. What if I asked you, how many people have you slept with unprotected? Does that
Okay.
change the narrative?
They do.
So how was the other one any different?
I feel like the last time you got tested is a better question. That's my opinion.
No, I don't like none of them questions.
Because
the thing is, if you got something to say I got an issue.
Because let me
people
tell
who
you why.
I got an
My
issue with people who have unprotected sex
No.
that I've dated in the past, and because of that, I'm
That's not-
asking you, because that's, you got to give people the whole story. That's the only thing. People,
But I
piecemeal
mean that's fair,
information
B
together.
Nix. And
I just
I'm
don't
not
agree with none of
discounting.
those questions.
That's fair, B Nix. I'm not discounting what you're saying. I agree with you. But I'm just saying that in addition to
Yeah.
that, the question is not empty. Like I'm asking you because it's meaningful to me in some type of way. You're not just gonna blow me off like, oh, that's not important.
Well, I
Yeah,
had
it is.
four.
That's why I asked you.
Well, then you know what? I mean, I had a girlfriend who only dated one guy and got a disease. You know
No,
what I'm
but
saying?
that's-
Like,
well, hold
or-
on,
and
hold
had
on.
unprotected sex with
Tawana,
one man.
Hey,
I'm
give us
gonna-
another example, JR. I
I'm
know
a
you meant that just
no,
as an
hold on,
example, but
Tawana.
now it's
I'm
And
gonna
sad.
bring it back. I'm gonna
Right,
bring it
right.
back.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna bring it back to you, Tawana. You specifically highlighted a situation in a past episode where your homeboy was talking to the homegirl and she had herpes and she was trying to like.
No,
You know what I'm
he was
saying?
trying. He was
My
trying.
point is that he didn't know what he didn't know,
He didn't know.
and so if he's asking a question, it's feeding into something that he's trying to
He
find
didn't
out.
ask no questions though. She told me, "Hey, I want to tell you this because I know this is your friend."
But she
And
didn't tell it to him.
no, because she didn't know him. He was a guy that she just met that day.
Did she rock with him though? Eventually?
No, of course not. She was being respectful, but it's not. It's because that's who she is. I'm saying there's some women who don't care.
Yo, fam. All I'm saying is,
And
we're not just gonna
let me finish
we're
that.
not just gonna blow off
so
my
you don't know
questions.
what the hell I was gonna say as the result of it. But
We're
I'm
not just-
telling you that she
We're not
didn't.
just gonna
with
we're
him.
not just gonna blow off my questions like they're not important.
Well,
That's
then
all I'm saying.
you don't need to date a woman with a past. Because
No,
I feel like don't be
listen,
asking women her
my
personal
thing
business.
is, I'm going to be just as forthcoming and just as open and honest as I'm asking you to be when we having this conversation. I don't think it's unreasonable us as adults, and I mean we grown, us as adults to have these conversations and ask questions in which we all know that people are not going to be honest. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to give me a curved number that's different than what is real. And then I'm going to try to evaluate whether or not I can get a decent answer somewhere out of that to figure out if I can continue.
Mike,
that's the narrative.
I like Mike's question. He said, well, ask them how many women they ate. That's a good question. That's a good follow-up.
That's a question for kids, man. That's a kid's question.
Case in point, yeah. Because the thing is, like, man, like, what's the value? I think that was what you said. Like,
yeah. And that's why I said I didn't disagree with what you were saying, B-Nix. I think that's fair. Like to really look at it like that. I'm just saying, let's not discount the question.
Listen, if I answered it, I told the truth. But if I don't feel like you need to know my business, you don't need to know my business. I mean, I don't really care. And if you don't want to
hold on, you don't. You telling me that all your homegirls tell the absolute truth when they get asked questions?
You know what? I've never asked them, but I mean, I think that.
I mean, y'all just shooting the breeze. Y'all at brunch and all of that. And girl, come on, man.
I've never heard my girlfriends talk about a man asking them how many partners they've had.
No, we ain't talking about just that. We just talking about them. They trapping. They got their bear traps out.
I know.
Talked about last time.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Come on.
We know how many people we.
No. I'm talking about to the person that they talking to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't recall having a conversations with my girlfriends where we're talking about if a man has ever asked us that. I just don't recall that. I mean, I'm just saying I don't recall my friends telling me, but I believe they're honest people and they will tell the truth.
JR, there's levels to honesty, and these chicks is out here lying, man, fam. Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes and let them believe.
Tell the truth.
Trick you into believing that these chicks is you gonna get your heart broke.
Shame the devil. Tell the truth.
They lying, fam.
It's power in the truth. It's in the lie. The lie will get you caught up.
So I guess for men and women, it seems to be that telling the truth is not the right way to go.
I mean, I don't represent all women, but me personally, my character and my morals, I say we should tell.
Yeah, just tell the truth, unless you're about to get in trouble.
It ain't never gonna happen. Forget about it.
You have to get a whooping.
And you just keep the lie alive, right?
It ain't never gonna happen.
Stick with it. Let me tell you, if you do lie though, you better write it down and remember it, because you bet not.
You see what I'm saying, JR? We can't do it, fam.
Yeah, see, so you got your answer, JR. Here we are.
That's it.
If you guys are just joining us, we're down to our last and final topic, which is flirting in a relationship harmless or cheating? Is flirting in a relationship harmless or cheating? I just in our Facebook chat, this was real big. This was major right here, man. We got a lot of people commenting about this. So I want to ask you, Anton, is flirting in a relationship harmless or is it cheating?
I wouldn't say it's cheating, but it ain't harmless either. Because the thing about it that I've always believed is that when you put yourself in a certain position, you open yourself up to the possibility. Like, yeah, flirting is cool. But first of all, let's take into consideration what you're doing to the other person, because you're actually making them believe in some way, shape, or form that something is possible with you, which is unfair to the other person. That's number one. But number two, I think that flirting creates a space where you leave yourself open to the possibility of what could happen. And even though the overwhelming majority of your interactions may not necessarily turn into nothing, I have an objective or an agenda within myself if I'm flirting with you. Whether it be for my own ego, whether I want to, you know what I'm saying, see what's there, whether or not I want to see if you interested. And then if you turn out to be, super duper interested, that might actually turn into something, depending on how many drinks I have and the circumstance and the situation and where we at that particular moment and whether or not I can get a room fast enough. My point is that flirting is not cheating. I would never categorize it as cheating. However, I will say that it's not harmless and that there is collateral damage that has been left in the wake of flirting that turns into something. Like, I wouldn't do anything that I wouldn't want my chick to do. I'll put it like that. If I don't want her out there leading guys to believe something and then we see them out and they're like, man, I was just hollering at her the other day. Like, I don't want that to be the narrative in any circumstance and situation. So I always move from the perspective of I base my actions off the expectations of what I have from the person that I'm in a relationship with. So I'm gonna pass on the flirting. Again, just answering the question. I don't think it's harmless, but it's definitely not cheating. You can't even put it in that same category.
Be next. Is flirting in a relationship harmless or is it cheating?
I'm actually looking at the other end of the spectrum. I agree with Anton, but I am looking at it that it is almost like a form of cheating. Because it's intentional. So the thing is, it's not like, even if we say like, oh, I didn't know what was going on, I didn't know what was happening. So the thing is, it's like you're opening up that door. So it's like, I know we all couch it as like, it was just something to do. It's just a game. I was bored, but like, if you want to see like somebody become crazy, this is when people become crazy, right? We always wonder, like, where did this level of crazy start? We say like, oh no, such and such been crazy. Nah, they became crazy because of this mixed messaging that arises from flirting. Because the thing is, somebody may be listening right now say like, I was just bored. You're saying that, but the recipient of that may say like, hey man, hey, he might leave, his girl for me. Nah, that ain't it. But the thing is, going back to folks receive people differently. The thing is, Anton, you mentioned like at the club or something like that, right? Hey, the setting, you may feel like I'm at the club or whatever like that. But if you kind of know the environment itself and what it kind of brings out of you, or like we said earlier about being built for certain things, if you're not built to just go to the club just with your guys or your homegirls and just have a good time just to drink without the other extracurricular activities, you don't need to be in the club. It's like, really, if you used to be like a recovering, drug addict, then you don't need to put yourself back in that environment again. Because guess what? You're going to go right back to the person that you thought that you wasn't anymore. So the thing is, it's just safe to not do it. Because if you're going to do it, you need to see it through. This is not a game because you're playing with people's lives, their emotions, and you're creating that level of crazy that we all complain about. Men are crazy too. And you know why they became crazy? Because some woman flirted with them one day and had them feeling themselves and actually thought that like, hey, you know what?
You said
she at like, I'll be like, Anton, she at me. Y'all may say like, oh yeah, I was just at the bar. He looked cute. I was bored. I didn't know where y'all went, so I just started talking to him. Yeah, but I'm over that. Next thing you know, you're gonna be like, hey, I was wondering. Like, no, it's over. It's like, wait, we were just vibing.
Ain't no woman
we were just vibing earlier.
Anyway.
This is the beginning of crazy. It starts at flirting. Even if we don't admit it, crazy happens here. This is step one to crazy.
It's funny because my story probably gonna be.
My story
gonna be aligned with your theory, Brandon.
Huh? What'd you say?
My response probably gonna be aligned with your theory.
Hey, I'm just saying, crazy starts here for everybody. And the thing is, I know I don't even be in a group like that, but I be reading. So the thing is, folks tell me I'm just bored. It was just something to do. Yeah, it's innocent. And hey, it is what it is. Everybody does that. Yeah, until you have a crazy situation. It'll change your mind. And crazy starts here. That's all I gotta say.
Tawana, is flirting in a relationship harmless or is it cheating?
I used to think it was harmless because in the past, I've dated promoters and part of their job was to flirt with women. And like they would flirt with the women to get them to come to the parties. And honestly, I was like, this is just like totally harmless, and it's just nothing, to it. They just want these, women to come to the parties, and like I was super secure with who I was, and so I just never felt like there was a threat to me until one day I witnessed it like firsthand, and I went to the bar, and my boyfriend at the time, man at the time, was talking to this chick, you know what I'm saying? And she was like in between his legs. And he didn't know I was coming up to the club. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know I was coming. So I surprised him. He told me he was there. He's like, yeah, I'm here and I'll be here, whatever. And so I pop up, right? This chick right in between his legs, and he got his leg, he ain't talking, she all close. And I walk up to him and I'm like, dude, like, what's going, like, what you doing? And she like, who is, you know what I mean? Who is this? You know what I mean? He like, he ain't trying to claim me or act, he don't know what's going on.
He was just talking, right?
He was like,
a nice, decent conversation.
Man, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, you just talking, you know what I'm saying? And so I tell the girl, I'm like, oh, I've been with him for, this is my man, right? Like, so I'm thinking she gonna be like, cool, I understand, whatever. She like, bitch, I don't get no. Oh, you don't care. Okay. So here I go. Beat her ass. I'm sorry. I just had to do it.
Oh, snap.
My bad. So wait, but I'm so young though. Like I'm so stupid.
Yeah, don't worry, Anthony. You already said she's just kind of crazy. That's all.
There you go.
Crazy.
That's a crazy scenario.
Who comes to the club to beat folks up?
Let me tell you.
You know what I'm saying?
But still, I had my purse still on my arm. I was looking all cute. I still had my heels on. I wasn't trying to fight. That's not what I came there for. But that's what she did. And then the girl had sisters, and so they all, came out the club.
All the same story. Oh my God.
So all I'm saying is,
man, that sounds real toxic.
It was really toxic. It was really toxic. And so let me just say this: that after that experience, I was like, I think that you really have to be conscious of what you're doing. And when you're flirting, there is intention there. I don't care.
No, you can just say it was the club,
No, it is intention there. It's intention it's intention to get someone to engage with you, to talk to them. Like you really have to shut it down initially. And I think that sometimes you can be a little bit too talkative to a person and they may take it as an indication that you really want to pursue something. And then you have to shut it down immediately. And I think that once you shut it down immediately, then you show that you don't really have intention. But I do think that flirting can be a slippery slope, and it can be harmless, but in most cases it's like that whole gateway drug.
Yeah,
you can try a drug. Right, you be like, I'm just trying this drug, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna, and then you can end up becoming a crackhead. Like that's exactly what it is. Like you can literally try something, keep on trying it, and then eventually it leads to something inappropriate. And you have to weigh whether your relationship is worth you making that risk for. And I think a lot of people will say no. But some people may be like, well, I'm not really happy and I don't want to be in this.
Yeah, because either you married or you single, right?
There you go. Hey. Now, to me, I don't feel like that. I feel like if you committed, you committed. But I'm just saying that sometimes flirting is super inappropriate. You have to shut it down. But also people can misconstrue conversations and make it inappropriate. I just say when you're approached, you have to shut it down immediately and be like,
variable to I'm the situation. Like,
yeah.
I mean, JR, you didn't mention this, but it becomes one of those like, and I'm curious even for the audience or the people that was in the group this week. All right, flirting. We know for a fact, all that being said, our stories, it does happen. Now, is flirting still as innocent, or you're just bored if you actually are in a committed relationship? Because the thing is, flirting when you're single is just something to do. But flirting when you're actually in a relationship, is that still, it's just innocent? It was just something to do. I was just bored. Or I don't know how this happened. I was drunk.
No.
I don't know. I didn't know she meant that. Then is that now different?
You can be unhappy in your relationship, or
can you flirt? Can you flirt if you're in a relationship? That should be the real question. Is flirting okay if you're in a relationship?
It's absolutely that's when it's inappropriate.
People do it though, Tawana.
Yeah, they do.
Because everybody said this whole week, oh, it's innocent. It's the thing that everyone does it. So everyone does it.
It was this man
like it's okay.
It was this man at my previous job. He had been married 30 years. He flirted with every woman in the office. Every last one of us. We all knew. Like when you walk past Mr. Blah blah blah, he gonna flirt with you. And that's what it is. He flirted. And I mean, I don't think any woman was interested, but I don't know, right? It might have been some older woman that was kind of like, yeah, hey, sugar daddy, whatever. So I don't know. But I just know that was what he did. And that was part of his personality. And so, we never really met his wife.
What's the outcome in flirting, though? What's the outcome?
Yeah. I mean,
think about it. Think about it from like just an outcome aspect in life.
Yeah.
Life is about outcomes. What's the outcome in this action of flirting? What are we really trying to get out of it?
You could possibly have sexual, like it could lead to some intimacy and you can have sex with people. And that could possibly, lead you to indiscretion and infidelity. So yeah, I mean, that's the outcome. That's the worst case scenario with flirting.
Yeah, all that from being bored.
Yeah.
What about women?
I'm just a little bored.
Hey, Tawana, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Like, what about the women that seek attention while they're in a relationship? Like, would you consider them seeking somebody to flirt with them?
They seeking attention while they're in a relationship. In what way? Like, if you're saying that they're intentionally flirting with men because they're trying to get men to engage with them in and they're being sexual, whatever, then that is wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, I'm just saying women is looking for attention, period, in a relationship.
Hey, B-Nix is confused. Like, what is going on?
I don't think so, because I think that sometimes, so this is the thing. Sometimes women are just social people. Like sometimes people are just no.
But like, aren't they inviting people to flirt? Like if like if they have the mindset where they're seeking attention, like aren't they inviting?
I don't talk when y'all listen. Some people are just extroverted and they just communicate and they just like to talk. And that has absolutely nothing to do with whether you're interested in a person sexually or trying to flirt. There's a difference.
So it's okay for a woman to seek attention.
When you're flirting,
Is it okay for a woman to seek attention while in a relationship?
I don't know. I don't think so.
But you said that it was okay for Aisha Curry. It was okay for her to seek attention.
I
think that you guys
she had a day.
And I believe that you guys misconstrued her comment. And I don't think that's what she meant. And that's not what she said, actually. If you listen to the entire conversation, what she said was that...
I'm trying to listen to her rationalize. Like, what? The action speaks for itself.
Can I explain? Can I explain what I
got
about why that happened?
Hold on, Nick. Let Tawana go ahead. Go ahead, Tawana.
I felt that she was saying that now that she is married, men don't approach her. They don't talk to her. And it's hard for her to be like, oh, am I still attractive to my husband? Like, do he still like me? Because, most of the time when you're married, most of the time when you're married, your husband, hold on. Most of the time when you're married, your husband don't give you attention or tell you you're beautiful every day, right? And so
he's on the road trying to put up some 3-pointers, yo.
Yeah, he's not. And so what she said was that
he's making money.
Usually when you go out, men are like giving you attention. And so it's kind of let you know you still got it, right? Like your husband, he's still interested. He still likes you.
But why?
And that was what she said.
Why does that matter?
I get into some trial like, man, I just
she didn't say it matter.
I still got it, babe. That's all.
She didn't say it. She didn't say it matter.
For a minute, you know what I mean? I just want to see, hey, a little rusty, but hey, tonight though, I was on.
I mean, listen. If your man is fine, women gonna think he fine. And if your woman is fine, other men are gonna think she's fine. And all she was saying was that men don't approach her anymore. So it's kind of like she has to depend.
But why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why
She
does
didn't say it mattered. She just was explaining how women, that's, a one way for a woman to
It
measure.
sounded like she was doing damage control afterwards, but her initial reaction was just like,
no, it wasn't.
No,
if you listen to the entire conversation, she never said that she wanted men's attention. She said that was a way that some women measured if they still had it or not. And so sometimes
why does that matter if she still has it or not?
Well, we all need to know if we still got it. We women, we want to make sure we still, pleasing our men.
So then is it okay? Is it okay for a man to know if he still got it?
Yeah, man. I mean, you better be fine.
Wait. So I guess my question becomes,
is it okay? Like if a man goes out with his guys, is it okay for him to see? Is it okay if he still got it?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, but my question becomes like,
he ain't.
So we recording this too, right?
So no. But this goes back to our last.
I didn't have some stuff with you, it's cool.
So why didn't she just go to Steph and ask him? Like, why is she even having these thoughts?
She just needed a second opinion, man. That's all. Outside source.
Because you need to do it. You need to do it like unconsciously without someone having to ask you.
She didn't even know what she was doing.
Just tell your woman. Tell your woman she's beautiful, and then maybe she won't need.
And guess what she gonna do? She gonna think you just being nice. I
won't think that.
The ironic thing about this whole show, I don't think I disagree with you one time. This whole show, bro.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Well, that's not ironic because all of the men are always aligned on this show.
Here you go.
Very clear.
Well, you're aligned.
What the hell is ironic about all of y'all being aligned?
You got her back like she blood. Defending this lady, this
stranger. I will tell y'all one time that y'all are the most, like, I don't know.
We what?
The most the most incredible.
Narrow-minded, tunnel vision, ass fools. Like, that's what it is. Y'all just like tunnel vision. Like it's like your questions are leading into women being the wrong person. So you guys just go with that.
That's not true because the actual question
or redirect it.
The question is open-ended, for example.
No, y'all just be like, oh yeah, women are wrong, so I'm just gonna go with that direction. Like
for example, the question is flirting in a relationship harmless or cheating? So it's not pertaining to any specific gender at all. It's just saying, is anybody in a relationship right if they decide to take on this particular action? Which I'm consistent in saying that no, it's not right on either side, right?
But Aisha Curry was not flirting with anyone.
You don't want to keep bringing up Aisha?
No, JR is the one who brought her up.
I brought it up. The reason why I brought it up because I feel like as though if she was seeking. By her seeking attention, she's inviting men.
She was not flirting with anyone. She was
flirting. Not that she's inviting men to be able to flirt with her.
She needed our validation.
Point was not related to Aisha Curry's point.
If a guy walked up to her and was like, "Oh, you look good, you're nice. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it." Is that wrong?
To say thank you to a man who tells you look nice? No, it's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's good.
We got to define what is flirting. By her entertaining, by her talking. Like most women would just shut it down. If a guy walked up and gave a compliment, you got some women, and keep it moving.
No, you just say thank you.
She's sitting there saying, thank you. All that.
You didn't say that. That's
all right, so Tawana.
That's an assumption, JR. That's not what she said.
If a guy,
I'm just giving an example.
If a guy come up and try to talk to you, do that make you feel better about yourself?
No, I just keep walking.
So it don't play no role in your life at all.
It just happens so often. I'm not sure if that's like.
She popping her collar. She popping her.
But as a man,
try to stunt on us.
As a man,
I'm just saying, Chicago. That's what happens here.
But as a man,
you have on a mask and everything. Men still try to talk to you.
I gotta apply the logic that Anton mentioned. That the thing is, I can't do something if I know if the situation was inverted and my lady is doing the same thing. I know that if I would be upset and the shoe was on the other foot, then that means I can't engage in that same behavior and stuff. The thing is, it is a one-sided thing because taking back what you mentioned in the past, Anton, men are hunters, right?
Yep.
But I feel
Yep.
like women, and I said then, women are hunters too. They just set traps, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
the thing is, or whatever you call it. But if I know that these are traps that are being laid, then I need to do better. Because the thing is one of those, if I engage in that behavior, whether I'm talking to my lady about it or not, I'm basically giving her the green light to also partake in the same type of activities. And the thing is,
Yeah.
that could go in a
Hey,
whole
but men
nother
don't tolerate
direction.
that shit. Men don't tolerate that, man. Men are great.
But that's
And
the thing
You
is,
That's a
don't
great
tolerate
response,
what?
hey,
Nick.
so
A
that's
great
why
Yeah,
response.
they don't tolerate
These
what?
traps, these women set.
yep.
Yeah,
you
That's
know
what I'm
the-
talking about, brother.
The thing about it, B Nix, though,
Y'all just
ironically,
act like y'all are like
but see,
mindless creatures.
this is a perfect
No,
example
it just
of why
like we just sit
Traps
back
are
and
for
peep game.
mindless creatures.
We just sit back and
B-Nix,
peep what's going on.
B-Nix, this is the perfect example as to why I like to separate it based on gender. And I'll give you a perfect example. Overwhelming majority of the interactions that happen on a daily basis, as far as people talking to people, most of the time comes from men approaching women. Like men try to talk to women.
Right.
It's a disproportionate amount of women getting guys trying to talk to them, but it's not happening anywhere near as much on the other side.
Mm-mm.
So I have to separate it and say, no, the dynamics of what happens to women is different from what happened to men. So the context matters. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I like to separate it as gender, because you have to say women set traps because they're not actually out approaching guys. They're still hunting. They're not necessarily
Ain't no
hunting
woman
in
setting
the
no
same
trap.
way. They're getting approached, whereas the guys are the ones
no, I think
overwhelmingly
there are.
approaching.
I think there is. more.
Brandon, of course you think that. All y'all think that y'all are ridiculous. That's like
But
saying
I feel
that,
like it's so commonplace for men to
Brandon,
flirt with women.
it's like saying if a woman's dressed sexy, she want a man to touch her. Like that's crazy.
No, I'm not. No, I mean,
No, it's no traps.
I feel
Nobody-
like men
Ridiculous.
talk to women all the time, right?
Y'all need to take accountability. Like
No.
it's not about no trap.
No.
All right, so let me
well,
ask
whatever
you a
you want to
question,
call it.
Tawana.
No,
Whatever
it's
you want to
ridiculous,
call it.
y'all.
But the thing is,
Tawana.
men talk to women all day long. Hell, the group right now, like folks low key just talk just so they can flirt with other people through social media. Like the thing is if going back to gender, if we look at the amount of men that's going into women DMs versus women going into men DMs,
Yep,
it probably be more than double. The amount, like men literally,
I would say more than quadruple.
right now as we speak, going in folks' DMs, commenting on pictures, whether they know you or not, just waiting. The good morning, gorgeous. Hey, beautiful. How you doing, queen?
Yep.
You know, nobody ain't really hitting me up on some old, hey, what's up, king? And it just don't work like that. Like it will almost feel awkward if it was the case. It's not the culture for that.
You know what?
Men have historically done this and currently do this right now.
I would say that I have a pretty decent following on YouTube, right? And I mean, literally millions of views. So I get a lot of different women reaching out and stuff like that. But even when they reach out, most of the time, and I get it, pretty regularly, like every day, but most of the time, it's still a trap. Like, they don't reach out overtly like the guys do. Like, guys hitting up chicks like, yo, what's going on, beautiful, or whatever. They first hit you with the question, like, yo, I would love to get some more insight into how you opened up your restaurant. Oh, okay, cool. What you want to know? Can we speak in person? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was your question again?
I gotta be an asshole at this point because I used to think that it was genuine. It's not, and if you don't want to call it a trap, but whatever you want to call it, I'm the bait. So the thing is, I gotta make sure that like I gotta hold myself accountable. So like the thing is, shit like this makes me actually not want to go out. I low key
Nobody
don't go
can
out.
trap you.
I understand, B-Nix. I understand. 100%.
It is, but the thing is, it becomes
Nobody can trap you.
Hmm?
You either
You can get trapped.
Do
That's
it.
exactly what happened.
or you don't.
Yo, you can get trapped, fam.
No.
No, well, all right.
A woman
maybe
is not
we're
trapping you.
stretching the term trap.
If a
I'm looking
woman,
at trap, the
if
trap,
a
the
woman makes herself
the
sexually
conversation is the
attractive
trap.
and you decide to approach her, that's still your decision. So that is not a trap. that is also a accountability thing.
You're right.
I need to take accountability for walking my ass over there and talking to her.
But
that don't mean it's not a trap.
You know
It's not a trap.
All right, whatever. Like, it's
Men,
something. Whatever you want to give.
The way you guys look at things is that you are an innocent victim in this whole entire game. No. We are both making
like a recovering
decisions.
drug addict that I got to make sure that I cannot put myself in a setting to fall into a trap, because then
men are in a specific place for a purpose, and women are there for.
Let me give you a perfect. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help her out. Let me give you a perfect example. The trap is the intention. Okay, so like for example, there are plenty of women every single day at these NBA games. They chasing the rappers, all of this stuff, right? What if the guy actually starts to like the girl genuinely and feels as though he can have a relationship with her, but she has an ulterior motive to get pregnant, and women do this to get pregnant because she feels like that comes the payday. The trap is not in his decision to have a relationship. The trap is in his unexpected outcome, in that he didn't know that she was trying to put him in a compromised position. So yes, he did make the conscious decision to engage with her, but he did not know that she had ulterior motives. That's the whole goal. Women trap because they go out and say, no man should ever slap me on the butt, but they walking down the street naked. Like, fam, you didn't know that you was going. I didn't know all of these guys was going to try to.
That's exactly why I don't believe in it. Y'all promoting rape culture.
Fam, what are you talking about?
Y'all are excusing rape culture. Y'all promoting
using rape. Nobody.
Yes, you are.
No, nobody not saying nothing
yes,
about
you are.
nobody. We're still.
My point that
you justifying is that I don't agree with.
Y'all, you pick and choose when you want to be educated. No. You want to say, oh, we're smart, we're wise, we're independent.
Nobody makes that man sleep with that woman unprotected.
Me just wearing a pasty on my
nipple. Does she have on gray leggings?
In New Orleans.
Nobody makes a man sleep with her unprotected.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if she had on gray leggings, man.
I didn't know
and that still ain't a force.
I didn't know that pasty was going to generate this type of attention. I don't.
But why would you do that if you don't want to have? If you don't want to have a baby with someone, why are you sleeping with them unprotected?
That is not what. Did you miss? You missed the entire conversation.
I'm talking to B. Nick.
I said
talking about some what you got the gray stress and the sweatpants.
No, they call leggings, not stretch.
I'm sorry, the leggings.
Like some old
the gray leggings on. Then blah blah blah. No,
the intention is the trap. If she's looking to have a baby by me, so that she can trap me financially.
Nobody trap nobody.
The concept of the trap, like that's the thing. Like Anton is speaking to the concept of even engaging in the like. I think somebody even mentioned on the chat. The thing is one of those that like everybody have different methods, right? So we're still talking about flirting, but both men and women, I feel, have different approaches on how
one is not trapping.
Well, it's not trapping per se. It's the concept. That's what we're talking about. Not the actual trap. You guys
look at it as trapping, and so you're teaching men to look at women in a negative light, like she has a ulterior motive and she's trying to trap them, and that's not the case.
Oh, okay. Wait.
And that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Stop. So, every time y'all go out, are your intentions just to have fun and have a drink? And I'm not looking at guys at all. Is that the goal when women go out?
You know.
No, it's a yes or no.
Let me tell you this.
It's a yes or no.
I know it's difficult for men to believe.
Stop.
Our lives don't revolve around you.
Answer the question.
Okay?
It doesn't.
No,
is there women?
Not the goal.
Is there women that go out with the intention of being approached by men?
Yes.
Okay. So guess what?
Plenty.
They are presenting themselves in a way that would draw men's attention so that they can get picked up. They're not going to say, hey, I want to get picked up. That's the trap. That's the concept, is that they don't want to overtly say, I want to get picked up, but they want to present themselves in a way that would generate the interest that they're looking for, that they're not saying they're looking for.
Okay.
That's the trap.
So I'm supposed to not dress cute not wear makeup, no do nothing, because you gonna think I want you. That is ridiculous. That is the craziest thinking I've ever heard in my life. Like, I dress up and I like to look cute. So I am automatically.
Somebody is still like literally, we talking about this. Folks still gonna try to holler anyway. We know that. That's obvious. So it's not even the fact that, like, all the thing we're saying, the same way we're talking about men being in folks' DMs and stuff like that, it goes both ways. Women also do the same type. It may not be the same approach. Women not gonna always be going to somebody DMs, but it is an approach. And I think that's what we're trying to state, that there's a different method per se. You can call it whatever you want. Let's remove the term trap. But there is some intentionality there that a woman does try to engage a man the same way a man engages with a woman. A man may just be more saying like, hey, I want you.
I think we both have different approaches, same goal.
I think we're in agreement.
I think that we both want to get the interest of the other sex when we go out, but we have different approaches. And actually, a woman shouldn't be shamed for a different approach, because we shouldn't behave like a man.
Who's shaming?
It was,
and you shouldn't call it a negative term like trapping. It should be called something different. Like
what?
Approaching.
You're not approaching though.
No, that's whack.
You're not approaching.
All right, so we're going.
Let's call it flirting, because that's what it is.
Flirtation, whatever you want to call it, but it's not trapping.
Okay, all right. Well,
we're gonna close this out.
Yeah, please.
We're gonna close this out, and I just want to get you guys final thoughts on it. So, flirting in the relationship, is it harmless or cheating? Next,
it's cheating. It's a form of cheating. It's a form of cheating.
Tawana, flirting in a relationship, harmless or cheating?
It's so crazy. It's not.
Yeah, she's just gonna say she don't gotta answer that question. You know what I mean?
It's. I guess it could be cheating. I lean more toward cheating than I do think it's harmless. I think it's more of a cheating thing, but I do think that it can be harmless and it can be absolutely nothing to it. So, yeah. Hey, yes or no.
Hey, before you go to Anton, this is the first time I think me and you had very hard stances on things. Because usually I'm more so like in the middle. I was really like one-sided this whole night, man, on how I felt about stuff.
I agree.
I think you called me a simp last week. I did feel a way about it.
He did. He did.
Yeah, I told Mark about your ass.
He kind of emasculated you.
I'm like, man, this buddy from Michigan calling me some simp. Well, look, still using simp. I'm like, how old is he? Still talking about simp. That's like old 80s baby stuff, man.
You say he had a feeling away when he got off the show, huh?
Oh, go ahead, Anton. Close this out.
Anton.
Have to say that.
Flirting in relationship, harmless.
Listen, before I even say what I want to say, I'm going to throw Tawana under the bus really quickly by saying she have her cake and eat it too. She don't really answer the question and take a hard stance. She say, it can be, but it can be harmless at the same time. Like, nah, man, we not going to do it. We going to have hard stances.
What's a real answer?
That's not a real answer. Listen.
I told you why flirting was wrong.
Don't do anything in a relationship that you would not want done unto you. That's my stance. I think that
is it cheating though? Is it cheating, Anton? Is it cheating?
I'm answering it.
Okay.
I have the same position in that I don't think it's cheating, but I don't think it's harmless, because I think just like anything, it's like a gateway drug. It can lead to something that is not wanted or expected in a relationship. And so you have to be very careful about how you approach things. It's not cheating, but it's definitely not harmless. It's like weed. Like it's not bad for you, but then at the same time, you probably don't want to go to work high.
But how you quote me, but then you gonna say I did answer the question. I said the same exact thing you just said.
Hey, close this out, JR.
All right, you guys. Flirting in the relationship, harmless or cheating, in my opinion. I think we all do it. I don't think that we conscious that we do it. Well, at least some of us. I think some of us do. Some of us do have motives, but it's harmless. It's harmless. It all depends on the outcome. Somebody tells you a compliment, you kind of respond a little bit and go about your way, it's harmless. But if you receive a compliment and you flirt back and exchange numbers, then it becomes cheating. I appreciate you guys joining us for Lapeef Let's Talk. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you guys, and we out.